Hey, how are you, Josh?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
how are you?
Thanks for good spot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not bad, is it?
I mean, no.
It's a little bit pretentious, but
yeah. No, I mean, I don't mind. That's fine. The waitress was nice. She was just happy, like I was so nice to her. Apparently, people are nice to the waitress here. So, okay,
typical Hollywood.
Yeah, right. Is your wife coming too?
She just went to the ladies' room.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
My trip to Austin ended up getting canceled, so we drove.
Because of the weather, or?
No, just whatever other circumstances.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They just canceled it.
Gotcha. Okay, well, cool. Well, that's not bad. I almost missed my flight to here because the snowstorm hit New York, just like slammed into it.
Yeah.
So I almost was not here. Luckily, sun's shining, so much nicer here.
Yeah, you were in California.
Yeah, I know. It's like if I was swimming, I would never leave. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I know.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, you come one day and it's like, the first week is kind of a shock.
Yeah.
And then
you just get used to it.
6 months later, you go somewhere else and you're like, oh man, back to California.
Yeah, of course.
That's better.
Well, then also, like, I have friends who, they live here all the time and they're a little, like, spoiled.
Yeah.
You know?
I am part of that category.
Yeah.
Spoiled.
Yeah.
Very spoiled.
Because then they're like when I flew in, it was like, oh, we're sorry, it's so cold here, you know?
Yeah.
50s, 45.
Yeah, it was like she was leading me outside. I was like,
yeah. It's very nice. I mean, yeah, exactly.
So what is your button? What are you wearing?
Oh, this is a wedding. It was actually a friend's wedding, and they're already divorced. So I should probably.
It's a piece of humor.
Yeah, it's kind of like a good talking point, and then
Okay.
and then you move on. But it is pretty funny because, like, it was a big deal.
Well, it
was a big wedding. They made buttons for it.
I mean, very few people make buttons.
There's this whole thing in Palm Springs, a ranch.
Right. That wasn't like last week. You didn't fly for that.
It was a year ago, though. It was literally a year ago. That's the last time I was.
It didn't last very long.
No. Like by Christmas, it was already done. So at least you guys are happy. Everybody,
I see there's no ring on your finger, so you're not married.
Absolutely.
You've avoided that?
Yeah. So far. Yeah.
Are you hungry? I don't know.
I mean, get whatever you want. I got the Pellegrino. I was thinking about ordering. But I want to see what you guys want to do.
Maybe have a snack. Maybe that pumpkin soup would be nice.
Yeah, I was looking at the tortilla soup, but then I saw they had lobster salad, so I don't know.
Yeah, they have,
they got
standard
stuff.
LA fare.
Yeah, right.
Move somewhere. Do I keep one, or otherwise I'll throw them over here?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, if I order, that's what I'll get.
So tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
Yeah, well, basically, I'm from Ohio, the Ohio area.
You are?
Yeah.
My wife's from Ohio. She was born close to Lancaster.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. That's just south of Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Great. Yeah. So, and then I was interested in PR and things. I was interning with a company in London, and then I was like, they're whiz kids with the web and designing things like that, and so they kept me around, and then. My business partner Steven, who wrote the first email.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, he's he was kind of we worked with casino gaming. A fascinating thing about casinos is the way they brand. Basically, when you have like a political campaign and you have the anti-gambling people, they're usually actually funded by casinos in other states. You know what I mean?
To keep the business.
To keep the gambling business coming to them.
Yeah, of course.
So that's like the first time you learn about. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Who's paying for? They're not anti-gambling. They're just anti-other casinos. You know what I mean?
So then it becomes a PR war, and it's
and it's fascinating.
Both sides are pouring money in and trying to get convinced, and it's just like any political campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. So that's how you got into doing that. Yeah,
right. And then, the work kind of continues. There's money out there to do things, and then, it's just a lot of people don't know where the money comes from.
Yeah.
So And that's, right now that's kind of what we're dealing with is we have some clients in the Middle East who are very anti-fracking, very anti-American oil interests, but it's because it cuts into their bottom line.
Yeah, if America, Rebecca and I have our own perspective because we come from an environmental background.
Sure.
Versus we don't have a horse in the game.
Right. Yeah.
I don't win if they frack, and I don't win if they don't frack.
Right. Yeah.
But clearly, from the point of view of all of these American companies, they're promoting this as America is going to be off of foreign oil.
Yeah.
Do all these wonderful things with natural gas, and fracking's going to be good. And
right.
And clearly, if I was on the other side of the table, I'd be like, well, that's not such a good idea for a number of reasons.
Yeah. Right.
First of all, my bottom line, but second of all, your environment.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. It's, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand why they would want to. Can I grab some?
Oh, yeah, please.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, fine.
Yeah, I understand why they would want to be all against that.
Yeah. And it's one of those fascinating things. It's like, well, they don't want the Keystone pipeline to be built.
Yeah.
But guess who else? Environmentalists. So it's one of those things where the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and we hang out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, Rebecca came from film.
Yeah.
You probably looked me up. My background is, I've been in the environmental movement essentially since I was 9 years old.
Oh, cool. Yeah, sure.
So the better part of 30 years.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm getting old.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Me too. I found gray hairs finally.
At least you're still finding hairs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got that happening too. Just saying, I'm on my way.
Yeah. So my background is I grew up in Louisiana.
Okay.
A lot of my family works in the oil business.
Sure.
So, I watched a lot of bad practices, pollution, people getting sick, people dying of lung cancer, emphysema, lymphoma, all the pollution-related diseases as a kid.
Wow.
So, when I was 9, I did my first science project on the local water quality. And I found lead, zinc, mercury, arsenic, cyanide, benzene, all of the major killers.
Yeah.
And then I went to state. I placed at state with the science fair, and one of the EPA representatives came up and they said, "Well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to disqualify your project."
What?
I was a very serious closet nerd. I spent 3 years doing all these tests.
Sure.
Gotten all the water quality stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, well,
"Hi, how are you?"
Good, thanks. How are you?
What can I get you to drink besides Pellegrino? Do we have everything we need right now?
What about lemonade?
What about lemonade? Let's get you some lemonade.
Okay, good.
My goodness. Let's get you some lemonade.
Okay,
you want anything
great.
in it, like vodka?
No, thank you for asking. Just lemonade.
You never
and then
know.
we're waiting for one other person who's currently in the ladies' room, and she'll join in a little while. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, anyway, this guy says, "I'm going to have to disqualify you." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, clearly all these tests are invalid.
Yeah.
That you've been doing. This is not valid science.
Yeah.
You've been cooking these numbers up."
What?
And that was the first indication to me, and there would be many others over the course of 30 years.
Oh, sure.
The environmental policy in the United States is
It's a joke.
yeah, it's a scam.
It's corrupt. Sure.
Broken.
It's a
Yeah.
It's like the facade on. Sure.
Yeah. So, fast forward, went to film school to make a movie about, green energy issues.
Yeah.
Got my master's in film, and came out to Hollywood, made that movie, and then that movie exploded.
Yeah. Fuel.
Yep.
Of course. Yeah. It's great.
Thanks. It was one of those experiences where you're just you're pushing everything you can push for years and years and years and years and years.
Sure.
And then finally it's over, and you're like,
what do I do now?
Now I have to go back and figure out how that happened and why it happened. And,
Right.
And so that's inside of that process. Like, Fuel got so big so fast because we never, with the movie, we were always going as a political, social message.
The agenda was part of the movie. Yeah.
You know, and people kept trying to pull them apart, and I wouldn't let them ever be pulled apart. So, you know, in terms of the grassroots penetration, it was so vast and so deep in that market space that it took like 3 or 4 years just to meet all the various people that had been involved in the movement. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Sure. Of course. I mean, yeah. You had. You had multiple. Well, you had Willie Nelson. Well, he was my favorite. Who else? Sorry. Who else?
And, Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Woody Harrelson.
That's right. Woody Harrelson was in there. Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Yep.
So yeah, at that point it becomes. You're representing the whole movement there.
It was just a monster. It was a monster. So.
And what year did you win Sundance again?
We won in 2008.
In 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sure.
Yeah, we won in 2008. So essentially, that gave me access to two things, which sort of I didn't fully realize what they were for a while. And one was I understood the green market because I'd grown up in it. I was part of what kind of broke through into the green market space in terms of green market accepting media and saying, yes, this is our media, we're going to call it ours, we're going to own it, and then we're going to promote it, and we're going to make it part of our call to action.
Right, gotcha.
So it's part of the identity of the green movement. That movie is now part of their identity.
Yeah, right.
You can say to any...
Yeah, you can go in Inconvenient Truth, Gasland, Fuel. Yeah. And then... you mentioned also on the phone when we spoke narrative movies.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Promised Land?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I know that's another strategy that we've been kicking around is the environmental documentaries. Yeah, it goes to the environmental crowd, but we kind of want something to scare the shit out of. On the level like Jaws, scare people with sharks. Let's scare people from fracking.
Yeah.
Let's scare people from exploiting America's oil interests.
Yeah.
I mean, specifically America's oil reserves. So it's like, we want to do something big on that scale.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've heard, the documentaries cost $1 million or something like that. But it's like, if we need more to do something else bigger and propaganda and PR campaign and the whole deal, roll it out. I mean, I don't know. 2016 seems to be it'll be an election year, so maybe people talking about it. You get the presidential candidates talking about it. Yep,
you want to come out. Rebecca and I put some materials together for you to have a look at.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we'll share those with you when she gets there.
Gotcha.
She's almost 8 months pregnant.
Oh goodness.
So she's gonna.
She's going into labor right now.
She'll let me know if she needs me.
Okay.
She's fine. So car trips aren't the greatest. So she said she was feeling a little bit car sick. So she'll be here when she's here.
Okay.
But we'll share with you basically. One of the things that we've gotten access to is essentially a lot of strategy around movies.
Sure. Are you familiar with Josh Barron at all?
Josh Brown, yeah. He's repping our film that we're doing right now.
Okay, great. Gotcha. Okay, great.
There she is. Howdy.
Oh, boy. Hello there. I'm Brandon. Nice to meet you, Rebecca.
Sorry for being so slow.
No, it's okay. You have a perfect excuse. It is A-okay.
The speed that you want to be on.
For one time in my life when anything goes, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You can get away with robbing a bank right now if you wanted to.
It was murder, but I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So Brandon and I have just been getting to know each other. Brandon's from Ohio.
No kidding, where?
Columbus area, Central Ohio. So he said you were from Lancaster.
That's right.
All right.
And I'm probably related to you in some way, because I'm related to half of the Midwest.
Yeah. All right, well, great. I'll see you at the family reunion.
My dad is he's in a tiny little place in the middle of nowhere.
In Lancaster?
Rushville.
Is that near Athens?
It's even further. It's not even a dot on the map. I don't even think there's a stop sign.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you're not there now, which is
I am not.
a fun thing. I always meet people from Ohio in like cool places, and it's like, so notice we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
No offense, but it's more fun other places.
Yeah, it's a nice place to visit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With insect repellent.
Oh sure. Right. Yeah, of course. In the summer, and even Columbus has been really popping off as a cool, it's just like a cool young people city. It's almost, I would compare it to Austin. It's kind of like the Austin of Ohio.
Yeah.
It's just that it's like, young people stay there, super liberal, a big gay population, like, they're very,
People in Ohio?
It's
yeah.
like, you know what it's
and
like in Ohio?
It's like the second biggest next to San Francisco. It's like Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus is like Los Angeles, and then it's like Los Angeles. It's surrounded by Orange County and Ventura County, which are completely the opposite.
Completely red.
Completely red.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, in Ohio we have the whole gerrymandering.
The whole
problem. Cincinnati is just one of the most hilariously.
I know. Well, we're looking at Cincinnati as a possible shooting location.
Oh, really?
For another picture that we might be doing the next couple of years. It has a whole abandoned underground subway system.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It got built and never used.
Oh, jeez.
And also,
The only city in the U.S. where they built an entire subway
Do you
system
want some Pellegrino?
and never turned it on. And there's a menu there.
Yeah.
Order some food?
We did not.
We weren't sure, or I wasn't sure if you
Thank
guys
you.
wanted to eat or. The salad looks good, but
Yeah,
Maybe a
tell
little
you.
soup or something.
You're asking me if I want to eat something?
Okay.
Have you seen me?
One of everything.
I don't normally look like this, by the way.
No, that's fine. I would hope you, not normally pregnant. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like this crazy, great place to film this sort of futuristic, apocalyptic
Oh, okay.
city.
Is that like an environmental theme? How many things are you guys working on? I mean, because we don't want to. If you guys are too busy, but.
Oh, that's not it. That's a good problem. Those are problems we like to have.
Yeah.
Filmmakers are always, I was gonna. Filmmakers are always working on multiple things.
Sure.
Because you push one project to the side, and then you do this one because this one showed up, and then you always have those things cooking. And I was gonna share with you how I got into film, but before I do that, Brandon was just sharing with me how he got into what he's doing, which is very interesting. Just to sort of summarize, he began working for a firm in London. He was kind of their web whiz kid, their computer genius, and fell into working for casinos.
You guys could dork out for hours talking about computers.
And he learned that, casinos essentially these big PR campaigns that they fund to get to stop a casino coming in. It's not because it's done by some specific group that doesn't like gambling. It's usually done by another casino who doesn't want that casino setting up shop in the next state.
But it's crazy.
Market share.
Yeah, they do like a whole campaign of
it's going to increase crime. It's going to do this.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad for
And
the
and
economy.
you do like a put together, and there's actually right now in Florida, there's like a no casino campaign that's being completely funded by the casinos that already exist in Florida, Disney, Cherokee Nation, Hard Rock, but they made this whole movie about if you legalize gambling, it's going to destroy the community. And they just pull every trick out of the book. Yeah, it's like they're showing pictures of Atlantic City in New Jersey just ravaged by Hurricane Sandy, mind you. But they just show the footage, be like, look at New Jersey,
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So from there, he and his partner created this business, and I didn't share much about that, but what you did share about and what's relevant to our conversation is that the clients that they're working with now have interests overseas, obviously oil and gas, and they don't want American fracking not so much for environmental reasons,
Right.
but for monetary reasons.
We figured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Not a surprise.
We know how
Yeah.
we know what the pieces on the chessboard.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
That doesn't bother us.
Yeah, and what I was going to share with you that I didn't share is, you know, at some stage after Fuel, I had to make a real choice as to whether I wanted to pursue green stuff
Sure.
or become a filmmaker.
Right. Sure.
And Rebecca and I met on Fuel. She produced a movie.
Great.
And she has been in narrative film since she was 9 years old.
Were you in a movie, like a Christmas movie? That was.
Yeah.
Okay. Prancer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one. I admit that's not.
It's all good.
Okay.
Okay.
You're just younger than the demographic that like goes
Sorry, if
crazy
you've seen
about
it,
this film.
you've seen it. There's like this crazy cult following for it.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, it's
It's like Princess Bride.
Well,
It's like kind of strange.
Oh, really?
they play it every year at Christmas.
The
You know.
movie's great, but
Yeah.
the following is so cool. It's bizarre.
It is crazy. I mean, I'll be in the weirdest places, and people are like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, the point of that is that at a very early age, I developed a fierce passion for filmmaking.
Oh, sure. Of course.
And also telling stories that had an impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
So, you know, after moving to LA, I realized I would have a much better chance at impacting people's lives if I was on the other side of the camera than if I was just sort of this pawn for other people's stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that was why when Josh came together, it was really powerful because I'm really great at producing.
Yeah.
And I have a great mentor who's like old Hollywood royalty.
Oh, cool.
And Josh is a great director.
So it works out.
So
It's a good team.
Yeah. High five.
High five.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
got married. And
Yeah.
now we're having babies.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a really nice story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not the end, but
Yeah.
that's like the beginning kind of.
Gotcha.
So what's your schedule like? Because we have some materials we want to share with you.
Oh, sure.
And it seems like people could have a nibble
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah. Let's get some food. If you guys have stuff to show me, let's
Okay.
hang out.
Yeah, I mean, it could take as little as
15 minutes.
and as long as
As many
2
questions
hours.
as you
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try to bounce around. Whatever. Let's just hang out.
Okay.
But like by 5, we'll be pushing it.
Yeah.
So.
Bye.
Good. So
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. So she'll come back whenever she comes back.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what I want for when she comes back.
I think I might have some of that pumpkin soup provided the
Oh man, I just spilled something all over myself.
That's right. You have an excuse. Can we order?
Yeah, most definitely. What can I do for us over here?
All right.
For us, my lady?
Oh wait, start there.
Start here.
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah. I'll do the lobster salad.
Cool.
Well, thank you. Is it big?
Nice size.
Well,
Definitely
nice size.
lobster salad.
All right. Gotcha. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, quick question about the pumpkin soup. Does it actually have apple in it?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have nuts in it?
It does have the apple, the nuts, and the duck confit is a little addition they add to it.
Okay. Can they not put apple and nuts in it? Is that possible?
The nuts are in the puree. They add a
They're
little
part
bit
of
to the
the deal.
puree.
Okay.
Exactly.
And wasn't there another soup that I
We have a
saw?
tortilla soup. We also have a
Oh, there it is.
beef with vegetable soup that's not on the menu today.
Beef and vegetable. Can you do the tortilla soup without the fresh cheese?
Of course we can.
Okay, good. I think I found a winner.
All right, cool.
I'll take that one.
Tortilla soup, no cheese.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right.
Is the West Hollywood salad good?
It is. We just added that recently. It is a huge hit.
It's a huge hit.
Yeah.
All right, well, in that case,
You got to get that one.
yeah.
All right. Because the East Hollywood salad is
It's
a complete bomb.
Complete bomb.
Yeah.
We had it on and just
North
way down.
Hollywood,
Yep, everybody's like, I don't want that. Yeah.
Eho.
Like, what? I'll get some more
I'm reading that.
lemonade right out.
Yeah,
Can you get another bottle of water as well?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
This
Let's
is
do
great.
it. Cool. Oh, nice. So one of the new
Pretty new.
ish.
It was new a while back. Does it need to be cleaned?
Yeah, it does, here.
I just need some Pellegrino.
Nah.
Here.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me a little
Dump,
Me and my
just dump it
sticky
on
finger.
there. Yeah. Let's see here.
Did you mention anything about where we live and what's going on where we live? And how interesting this happens to be for us?
I did not. I did not talk about any of that.
So we have a movie studio.
Okay.
We just recently moved it from Venice/Santa Monica up to Ojai, which is about an hour north of here.
Okay. It's spelled with a J, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. It's about 30 minutes south of Santa Barbara.
Yeah. I'm over
But it's
here
a-
like, oh, Jai?
Right.
What?
Yeah. People are.
And it's a mecca for, you know, celebrities. Like, you know, our first day there, we ran into, like, Ted Danson and, you know,
Oh,
just,
nice.
like, Peter Farrelly, the Farrelly brothers, he's coming and doing a screening at our place tomorrow night.
Oh, wow.
There's just like, Reese Witherspoon's house is like a stone's throw away from
He's
ours.
not screening Three Stooges 2, is he?
It's the Dumb and Dumber 2.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have this movie studio that we bought on a 5-acre avocado ranch.
Yeah.
We moved there because we wanted to be able to expand, and also, a lot of our, I'd say about 80% of people that worked for us in Santa Monica moved up to Ohio or Ventura
Okay.
to continue working for us. Now we have a pretty large staff and this incredible space. And right when we moved there, they started talking about fracking in Ohio. And about
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the people that work for us, they're not only incredibly talented, editors and writers and, assistant directors, that kind of thing. They won Academy Awards, and they're brilliant people. But they're also really passionate, like we are, about the environment.
Yeah.
So when the idea of fracking in Ohio came up, immediately they're like, "This is terrible. We have to protest." So we haven't really, told them anything about the possibility of the project yet because we didn't want them to get excited about it.
Sure.
But certainly, with the fact that we have an avocado ranch.
Yeah.
And we're having a baby.
Yeah.
And that is literally in our backyard. It's like a very important issue to us.
It's kind of like Gaslands, where it was just like, hello, should I? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like this is something that we're already committed to. Like stop the fracking, at least in our area, not only in our area, but we also work with a lot of people that are leading anti-fracking movement in the United States. Especially, they headed up a lot of the anti-fracking movement in upstate New York. And and we work with a foundation who wants us to work with them on an anti-fracking movie anyway. We haven't really started discussing with them, but they funded the movie here, Governor Cuomo, which got Governor Cuomo to reinstate the anti-fracking bill.
Right. See, and that's the thing. That's why, my clients are so interested in like a PR, because it works. It actually works. I mean, if they would have legalized fracking in New York and California, that's huge money lost for my guys. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those fascinating. We ordered food without you. I'm sorry.
I know. I feel like
really
my therapist's going to buy a boat with residuals from this experience.
Oh my God. Well, hopefully it's not like a big boat.
We're not talking a boat for her kid in the bathtub.
Okay, we're not talking
yacht.
inflatable dinghy.
We're talking Russell Simmons be like, oh my God, look at you.
Yeah. Well, as long as we can hang out on it.
I mean, what do you care about?
Yeah. No, with you.
No, what do you care?
All four of us, we're going to this boat.
This sounds fake enough. You don't have to do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay? The die's been cast.
We'll see you on the boat.
So actually,
We'll see you on the boat.
We see you on the boat?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be working on the boat.
Okay.
That's okay. We'll order from somebody else.
All right, there's one copy that has a tear in it. I'm trying to figure out which one that is. But it should all be fine.
That's fine.
All right, so we put this together.
Wow, you guys didn't do this just for me, did you?
Yep.
Oh, gee whiz. You guys.
Like I said, we're passionate about this issue.
Yeah.
You want to talk to him about that?
About?
You had something you wanted to say about the content?
Oh, yes. Oh, I totally missed critical moments.
Yeah.
Please, okay, first of all, I'm from Ohio, so obviously I'm a good person.
Yeah, right.
He's obviously a good person.
Yeah.
So we just ask that you honor these materials.
Okay.
And that you not give them to potential competitors.
Sure.
We're not going to ask you to sign a non-compete or something, like a non-disclosure agreement or anything like that.
Well, you're right. In Hollywood, that is the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
It doesn't hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. It's more like, our request is that you just, if you would like to, if you choose to work with us, or if the people who are hiring you choose to work with us, it'd be awesome to use this as a guide.
Yeah.
If not,
please don't.
Please don't.
Sure.
Exactly.
Of course. Okay.
Cool. So we'll take you through this. It's the booklet and the slideshow kind of follow each other. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So.
I'm coming over.
You saw our website or something about us, so it's not a mystery what our name is. So, just looking at the kind of anti-fracking films as you guys have done.
Yeah.
Basically, there's Gasland and Promised Land. There's some pro-fracking films.
Those are pro-fracking.
and some very small,
everybody's,
like off the radar kind of.
These are anti-frack.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Promised Land, Josh, how do we say his last name? Baron?
Josh Braun.
Braun. Yeah, he was saying that Promised Land was like a little weak.
Yep.
It was not just.
You should watch it.
A flub. Was it a flub? Was it a flop?
It was not a complete flop.
Yeah. But it didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything.
It didn't scare anybody.
Well, there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that.
Okay.
You met with Josh Braun?
So
yeah, New York.
He's repping our film that's West Point right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one's that one?
It's called Pump.
Pump. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Breaking the oil monopoly.
Nice.
Great. I mean, we work for whoever shows up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
At some stage.
I mean, as long as it falls within the parameters of what it is that we're committing to.
Yeah, right.
Like, we wouldn't make
True.
a pro-fracking movie if the oil company showed up and asked us.
That's true. We wouldn't do that.
Sure.
No matter how much money
But
they
if the oil
offer.
company showed up and said, "Will you make an anti-fracking movie?" we would say yes.
Yeah. Great.
It's not the source of money. It's the subject that we care about.
And the impact.
Yeah, right.
So the question is, were these films successes or failures?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Gasland, Gasland was really made for TV. It's a handy cam kind of movie. It feels like a YouTube video. The whole thing is narrated very slowly like this.
By Josh.
Yeah. And the reason that it broke through is because it was the first time people saw somebody light their water on fire.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that is unbelievable, no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, right.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It so happened that HBO, Sheila Nevins, all the people that control that station, they have houses in upstate New York, by Josh.
Oh, okay.
So when that film crossed their desk, they were like, "Oh my God, this is our backyard.
Right.
This is relevant to us.
Yeah.
We will push this film."
Yeah.
So they took Gasland, they pushed it for the Oscar. It only ever released in 2 theaters.
Yeah.
And then HBO put it on HBO.
Yeah.
When a major cable network puts a film like that on TV, they'll air it once, twice, 3 times maybe, and then it goes into their digital collection.
Yeah.
So it's a very different kind of impact. It's a very quick blip.
Yeah.
And it's very fast, and it's very intense, but it doesn't have a tail.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he made the second one, and that's been kind of the thing.
Yeah.
The second one had a lot better information, but it was actually worse shot and worse edited. It didn't have any theatrical release at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gasland 2 is just
TV.
straight to HBO.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay.
But it was hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
It made
Not much more to.
The camera. I don't know how they spent $2 million on that film.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about the end of Gasland 2 is he stands on the bridge next to his house, and he looks around and he says, "All of this land is now getting fracked. Essentially, my quest has failed."
It's almost like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, by his own admission,
Yeah.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't affect a permanent shift in the anti-fracking movement, and there are reasons for that.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
So then, participant goes, "Okay, we'll get together with the Abu Dhabi Imagine Group, and we'll make Promised Land," right?
Right.
Which is obviously supposed to be an anti-fracking film.
Yeah.
Not once do you see a fracking pad, fracking tower, fracking drill. It's not explain what fracking is.
Yeah.
You can watch that movie and actually have no concept of what fracking is.
Yeah.
Completely.
Really?
No idea. You know it has something to do with natural gas, but you're not even clear at the end of the movie if natural gas is good or bad.
Yeah.
Or
They
if
just say, go look up Google.
is it good or bad to frack? I mean, the whole thing is basically Matt Damon's character dealing with his conscience of buying people's mineral rights.
So the conflict is in his mind.
It's very much an internal conflict.
Okay.
This struggle is externalized briefly a couple of times. He gets into a sort of a shouting match at a bar, and some guy punches him, and he falls down, and that's it. There's no real fight. And then he kind of falls in love with this girl, but there's no real payoff for the romance. And then the end of the movie is he gives a speech at the high school where they're about to decide whether or not to allow fracking in town. And then it's the moment of truth, and instead of talking about fracking, he talked about his boyhood farm's barn. And that his grandfather taught him to take care of the barn. So he guesses they have to take care of things.
Yeah.
And that's his last line when he walks out.
Yeah.
And then he goes back and checks up with his girlfriend.
And then he goes and sees the girl.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they smooch and roll credits.
Right.
Okay.
They didn't even smooch.
But that's
He
the
just walks
idea.
inside.
That's the idea.
The movie is
smooching for my movie.
the movie is so it hits you like a wind that you're not even sure happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it was lacking heart. It doesn't make you laugh.
So-
it doesn't make you cry.
Interesting.
It got 50-something% Rotten Tomatoes reviews, which means reviews-wise, it's not a complete abysmal failure, but close.
Yeah.
As close as you can get.
Interesting. And there wasn't a good bad guy either, like John.
Welcome.
Thank you. That's for me. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Looks like that'll need a minute to cool down.
West Hollywood salad.
Thank you very much.
Oh boy.
Lobster salad.
Oh wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Everything is okay at the moment?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's going to need a minute to cool down.
That's fine.
Which is good because I'm talking. So what was the result of these films? Basically, this is the result. This is the Energy Information Administration's projection of increase in production in the United States over the next several years as a result of this.
Projected increase in production. So it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Meaning the films didn't
Do anything.
clarify a call to action. They didn't hook into a social message campaign.
Yeah.
And they didn't activate a base of support. They failed. They didn't fail to inspire conversation.
Sure.
They failed to inspire permanent, lasting action. Or this wouldn't be available on the EAI's main website. And this is what they're pushing. This is their number. This is not some pro-fracking group. This is the government of the United States of America. The Department of Energy. This is their solution to the United States energy's problem right now.
It's fracking.
Yeah.
They're pushing it.
From the White House down.
And
From Obama's lips down.
Right. Oh wow. Yeah, because he mentioned it. Did he allude to it in the State of the Union?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Absolutely.
I wanted to back up a minute, and at some point, you don't have to do it now, but you should read the document because we point out what was missing.
Well, I'm about to do that.
Yeah.
I'm about to do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the document, this is a good, quick point. The document's very detailed.
Yeah.
You got it, been doing this for 30 years.
Sure.
36 pages is what
Yeah.
could be improved upon.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, why did they fail? First reason is a lack of clarity. I mean, these are two iconic images from the film. There's no, I'm not getting it, I'm not seeing it, I don't see kids with lesions. I don't see people's skin falling off.
Right.
I don't see animals. I don't see dogs. I don't see anybody's dog die.
I don't even see the water on fire anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, these are the central images. Matt Damon's falling in love with some chick. Great. This dude's got a banjo and a gas mask. I'm not sure. Is he crazy? I don't know.
He may be crazy.
And he sounds drunk for the whole movie.
And then the real...
$2 million, I would be too.
Yeah. Well, the real issue is, as you know from your work in the space that you've been working in,
Right.
no campaign equals why are you putting it out on TV? Why are you spending, $100,000 for that slot on prime time to put that commercial on if you don't have a campaign around it?
Right.
It's going to be it's a fart in the dark. Nothing. And so, again, you can inspire conversation, but unless you have a cohesive strategy that's engineered from the first day that you turn that camera on through the end of the film, through what's going to happen next, you're wasting your money.
Right.
You're literally wasting your money.
Right. Wow.
Because it's just that.
Everybody okay? Fine?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you.
Water, miss?
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're looking for a spoon?
You read my mind. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. My name is Jose. I'm going to be taking over.
Okay, good.
Oh, no.
I'm glad you're taking over. We need a strong, handsome male to take over.
Can I get you anything?
Did they fire that other lady?
No, they going home.
Okay, good.
But she's okay. But she's okay.
She's okay?
Okay.
She was okay?
No, I mean, like, is she okay?
Oh, she's fine.
Okay.
We're just doing a transition from AM to PM.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, her body will be fine next week.
Oh, my God.
So, for these campaigns to work, the movie has to be engineered in such a way that literally your scenes, your characters, what's getting said, how is it playing, what do they see at the end of the film, each piece of that is a part of the eventual social media and campaign.
It's like with the Super Bowl. You don't just have a commercial anymore. You got a hashtag. You got a website. You get your hashtag trending on Twitter during the Super Bowl. You were successful.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay.
Exactly. But this is much larger because what you're going after is ultimately the only way to shut this down is legislative change.
Yeah.
Period. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened in New York. That's the way to do it in California.
It's the only way. This is how we got rid of smoking.
Right.
This is how we got rid of Love Canal. This is how we get rid of these things.
That's interesting.
When 3 Mile Island happened.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
There was a movie that came out called Silkwood. And it just so happened that look, there's always movies getting made. There's always bad things happening. But whoever was in charge of marketing the movie went, this is the best damn thing that could have ever happened to us in terms of, we're hitting distribution now.
Right.
And they leveraged that film off of the back of 3 Mile Island. They're the living shit out of everybody in this country.
Of nuclear
So
energy.
in 1978, the last nuclear commission, that was that.
That was it.
That was done. They shut it down.
Right.
They shut it down in the U.S. That can be done with this.
Yeah.
But these two things have to work in conjunction.
Sure, of course.
And it has to be done absolutely perfectly.
Right.
It can't be, a night on HBO. It can't be Matt Damon's, Day in the Sun.
And to piggyback on that, our last film, or actually not our last film, a couple films ago, The Big Fix, about the oil spill and the Gulf effect of the film. The New York Times compared it to Silkwood.
Gotcha.
Said it was like a documentary version of Silkwood, only in modern day, so what happened to oil spill. And then a person who was in the film ended up handing out copies to every member of the Department of Justice for that film. And then they went after BP with a vengeance as a result of that.
Oh, gotcha.
So it changed the nature of the court case in such that what it did was the film, again, we were very specific that this was not a civil suit. This was a criminal suit. So it's one thing if you have negligence. It's one thing if you have an accident. If you've purposefully hidden information, if you've purposefully done things against the law and then hidden that, and then that resulted in death or significant loss of property or life, that's criminal action. And that's what we pointed again and again and again and again in the film. This is not a civil issue. This is a criminal issue. After the film was seen by the head of the Department of Justice, it was the first time in the history of the United States that the head of the DOJ put sanctions against the United States government doing business with a foreign corporation.
Oh, boy. BP
lost 100% of forward-looking contracts. Still does not have them renewed.
Really?
Cannot have them renewed until it can prove that it is in fact innocent in the criminal case.
Wow.
And that it can ensure ongoing safety.
Wow.
So the movie, cost us whatever it cost us.
Yeah.
But it cost BP about $3.5 billion.
That's great.
And then people in the movie got called in to testify. The movie
and then
evidence.
And then the entire court case shifted from a civil case to now they're trying for manslaughter.
Wow.
11 people died. 11 people died. It's not
as a direct result of oil.
Yeah. If the thing blew up and killed 11 people.
Yeah.
Those people have families. It's like.
Yeah. Right.
Regardless of how you feel about oil, there's a legal precedent. So it's about creating the clarity and then making sure that clarity has a place to go.
Gotcha.
Like, what is the objective? Why are you making this film? What is the intended outcome?
Yeah. Wow.
Is it permanent? Is it temporary? Is it, how do you want to play this game? You know? Because anyone can make a movie. Anyone literally can make a movie.
Yeah.
But this is a much larger playing field now, and people are starting to realize this with docs, and we'll show you a couple of examples.
Gotcha.
So, what needs to be done in order to fix these movies? First things first, critical points have to be clarified. California is the largest green voting bloc in the country. It's also the largest gross receipts producer of agriculture in the United States of America, which just so happens that California has a water crisis.
Right.
Every farmer in the state is fighting for water, us included. We have a 5-acre farm.
Right.
So the idea of one drop of that water getting contaminated is you can't even imagine the kind of anger that in the central, and this is Central California is where all the growing is. Just so happens that the Monterey Shale play is more or less directly on top of a good portion of that growing area.
Okay.
That's a massive issue. Hasn't been explored. Needs to be explored. California is, the frickin' shale play is under Hollywood, for God's sake.
Yeah,
so again, what goes into the water goes into our food. You want to talk about a state that is food-centric, food-insane, ready to go crazy about food. Californians think their food is getting poisoned by fracking.
Yeah.
You will ignite a fire the likes of which this country has never seen. And it just hasn't been clarified. There's some heat around the fracking issue in California, but not like there could be. Not the kind of shitstorm that we're talking about. Obviously it's a water issue. The main thing that the two dynamics here that aren't just getting super clarified.
Yeah.
One is health, direct and indirect health effects. So what are you breathing? What's happening to your skin? What's happening to your children?
Sure.
And the other one is your food. So it's a very powerful campaign.
Right.
Food versus fracking.
Right.
When you get it down to that level, to a visceral level that everyone can relate to, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a bunch of toxic shit in that food now because, these guys are fracking up the road.
Right.
And by the way, that's what your kid's going to look like because here's all these cases of these other kids that look like that.
And the other place where this is a critical issue is also in the Bakken up in North Dakota, the Bakken Shale. It's another place where a tipping point could happen because there are so many scared families, mothers, who are already starting to see the impact of all the fracking that's been going on there. So in California, it's not happening to the extent that it's about to start happening. In the Bakken, it's been happening there, and they're seeing the results. And that is another situation where if the information got out there to people in a way that really affected and impacted them, it would also cause a shitstorm.
Yeah, it's a powder keg, but like any powder keg, if it's not dealt with correctly, the other side will very quickly use this.
Right. Oh, sure.
This is just like your casino.
Yeah.
This is a battle that's being funded from all sides.
Interesting.
So
those mothers in the Bakken have reached out to us for help.
Yeah. Great.
So we know the people that are involved in this fight.
Yeah.
Very intimately.
So whatever happens, doc or narrative, you've got to think of what's going to be the beachhead, what's going to be the Normandy of this fight. The Bakken is a good example of where the battle will go if nobody does anything. It's a wasteland. It's like the moon.
Yeah.
But in terms of your beachhead, where are you going to focus? Where are you going to get the fight to move? You can move Hollywood.
Yeah.
And once Hollywood moves,
oh,
so
sure.
goes the nation.
Right.
The world.
Yeah. Right.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's funny, Ohio also sits on top of the shell.
Right.
Yeah. Well, most of the country does. So, I talked a lot about engineering this film. Essentially, fuel distribution ended last year. It had a 5-year distribution.
That's great.
We were opening theaters last year.
That's great. So it's just like a slow burn.
Yeah.
People who still haven't seen it and want to know about it.
And how well it burns and how you keep that fire going. Films are ephemeral. you see them in the theater one week, they're gone the next week.
Right.
Maybe they last for 2 or 3 weeks. A big film like The Hobbit or The Hunger Games, maybe it's there for a month and a half. But again, that's hundreds of millions of dollars. So there is an entire array of strategies and sub-strategies that largely rely on social networking, social media, the blogosphere, Twitter, all of that, to keep a film alive and keep it present for people.
Right.
And because once you've seen it, you've done it. What is there to do? Well, if it's done correctly, there's a lot more to do.
Right.
There's conversations to get involved in. There's panel conversations. There's actions you can take online. There's surveys you can fill out. You can be learning new things. You can see the subclips that didn't make the film.
Yeah.
The whole world. So basically, you get invited. We open up the green rope and we let you in, and you become part of that world. And it now becomes part of your identity that you're part of a fan base. It's like being a Trekkie.
Right. Sure.
But a little less dorky. So, so Fuel, as we were saying, Fuel's had a lot of influence.
Oh, that's great.
Fuel's actually, we like to calculate it at somewhere in excess of $1 billion of influence during the time of its distribution.
Yeah.
Raised over $100 million for a couple of algae to fuel companies. Walmart asked us to bring the film. We screened at the HQ in Bentonville, Arkansas for Walmart.
Okay.
Had a radical impact. They started to completely do all this new sustainability initiative. They've no cost calculation there because, how do you even measure it? I don't know.
Yeah.
ExxonMobil, after the movie screened in D.C., these are actually, I should have put them in another order, but the U.S. Department of Energy, after the movie screened in D.C., the U.S. Department of Energy committed $600 billion to advance biofuels R&D.
Okay.
ExxonMobil matched it with another $600 million. Sorry, $600 million. So those two entities made up the bulk of the change that the movie did.
Sure.
Audi added diesels back to its U.S. market after the film was screened for them in their design center in Pomona. And then the Obama administration asked us to come to the White House, screen it there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Good. There's a theater in the White House.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Most people don't know.
Somebody, was it Clinton had it put in because he loved movies so much?
Oh, really? Used to be a cloakroom.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Yeah. So that's the kind of long tail power that the film has to kind of impact something. Again, we were going for a pro, not an against, so we weren't trying to shut something down, we were trying to get something started.
Sure. I would say, my clients won't care about,
They're not going to want any of that stuff. They don't like that stuff.
Right.
That's against their ethics.
Well,
It's more about our focus is not only making excellent films, but it's about impact.
Okay, and you guys are just proving that you guys did have an impact.
Exactly.
Sure, okay.
We run campaigns.
Right.
We know how to
This could be anything.
do a grassroots marketing campaign.
You could say, I want to make sure that organic orange juice is now in every school in America.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's do it.
So, what are your options? You've got two options. The first one is a documentary. In order for this to work, because the Gasland movies are reasonably, they're well regarded,
Right.
to some degree.
Yeah.
If you go with the doc, it's going to have to distinguish itself from those prior movies. You can't do another helter-skelter activist film and anticipate it's going to have the same impact that the first two had.
Sure. That's what Josh Brown was saying.
Yeah.
It's like we kind of have to go a different angle about it.
And that's he was kind of like a poor Michael Moore,
Right.
Josh Fox.
Yeah, Josh Fox. I've never made a film. I'm going to document this thing, and
A lot of shots of him holding the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pulled it off.
She's shaky filmmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you distinguish it? From our perspective, what we see is something that's crisp, professional, high quality. It's got to have enough new information so that it is newsworthy, which means you're going to actually have to do some research.
Right.
We've already seen the water catch on fire.
Right.
Now
what else? Yeah.
California and the Bakken have not been covered.
Okay.
So those are two huge areas, pretty obvious.
And also, I think people need to be made to feel that it's not just California or the Bakken, but this is all over the United States. This is happening everywhere. So it's like your backyard USA would be the goal, that people walk out of whatever, whether it was a narrative or a documentary, realizing that this is about to start happening where they live, which are pretty much true if you look at where the shale sits in the United States, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to build a broad-based clear mission with this film. And one of the ways that sort of the other side, went after Josh's film, they said, look, the science is really bad. They said,
from the fracking stuff? Oh, sure. It's kind of like the global warming people.
Yeah. And his science is good, but his explanations are so bad that you could say that he was misleading people, or he was saying things incorrectly. Not on purpose, just he's not...
But it is noticeable in the first one or the second one?
Both.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Okay. There isn't a lot of science, like what he does say, they're able to disprove because he's lighting water on fire, but really they're just lighting a pipe on fire.
There's
just interesting representations of what's happening.
Yeah, it's not a hardened, bulletproof like now you can't refute this kind of argument. It's like, okay, now we're going somewhere else. Okay, now we're going somewhere. So if you wanted to, you could look at it and you could be a lot of sleight of hand here. This is smoke and mirrors. This is BS. I don't believe it.
Sure.
I think if you go with the doc, it's got to be irrefutable. It's got to be backed by really hard science. It's got to be all detailed, all
pictures
on the website.
of sick people, what exactly like the effects are.
Blood tests, analysis, graphics. Clear.
Which, by the way, there is now.
Yeah.
There wasn't that before because
a couple years ago.
It was hard to get your hands on anything, and nobody was willing to step forward and say, but it's actually starting to come out now.
Yeah, it's coming out. So, and it needs to have all of this. It needs to build to a clear call to action, and it's got to have a built-in, pre-budgeted marketing and distribution campaign and strategy. You don't have that. It's the same thing. You cannot possibly expect to succeed on a ongoing large level, or you're going to end up trying to make one of these films every 2 or 3 years,
right?
And they will become less and less effective.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
The market's going to get saturated, and people are going to be like, "Well, I saw the last one." You've got enough opportunity still because Gasland was just TV, and because Promised Land was such a flash in the pan. There's enough market space to still go in there
go after it
with balls out. But if you're not bally, if you're not brave, if you don't just come in strong,
right,
it's going to get soft.
And what do you think about the idea that I mentioned earlier? You weren't here yet, but it was kind of like a slow build to the 2016 presidential election, where it becomes an issue. People are asking the candidates about, we all know every presidential debate, there's only so many issues they ask about,
If we start now,
well,
I'm just saying, if
kind of are.
Yeah, if we started, like if you said, great, Josh, Rebecca, let's make a film.
Yeah.
Okay.
The film would be coming out.
We have an 18-month production cycle.
Sure.
For a good movie.
Yeah.
So, we wouldn't be done with the movie until toward the end of next year. At which point in time, we're going to be racing for distribution prep, which means distribution is going to start right around there.
Here's the thing about that. Everybody always talks about this. Every documentary, everybody talks about the presidential election.
Yeah.
It never works. And here's the reason why. Because it puts a time limit on the campaign.
Okay.
Because you don't want, not only that, when a presidential campaign is happening, there's so much competition for airtime. There's so much competition for different issues, and you never know which direction they're going to run with this time. It's actually probably during the presidential election, right as you're hitting that, it's hard.
It is tough.
It's a hard time to try and put a movie forward as.
Yes and no. I mean, we did Fuel in 2008. You got to remember.
We did.
Obama was just coming into office, and in retrospect, part of what did work was people were ready for change.
Yeah.
And they embraced the message of the movie as part of it, and that's part of why the Obama administration screened it early in the administration.
But it wasn't limited to the campaign.
It wasn't limited to the campaign. I think what I agree with what you're saying is I would agree with Rebecca in that I would not design the movie specifically as an instrument to be used only in that political campaign. Like, it has to be strong enough
So it has to
go straight through the campaign and keep going.
last beyond, yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond.
If you limit it to the campaign, she's absolutely right.
You just
It will not
completely
work.
pigeonhole the possibility and the scope of the campaign.
Sure.
It's got to be something that will last for years and
Yeah.
years and years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it is something that, you think about. I think Fahrenheit 9/11 was the most successful documentary ever. Is that true? Or
Box office-wise.
box office-wise. But,
It didn't
again,
achieve its goal.
it did not achieve its goal. And then
Okay.
after that, well, I don't really need to see it anymore.
Right.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's very limiting. Whereas, if you weren't a political activist and you were designing that movie, you said, what do I want to do?
Right.
What's my real objective here? He had one objective. That was to make sure that
Bush was not reelected.
exactly. But if he had a broader perspective and said, look, I want to limit the corruption in government, and I want these laws to be passed.
Well, it did. Well, it didn't have the impact again, but it did. That's what was so nice about it. It had that extra message about like the poor kids getting recruited for the military.
Totally.
And and I liked how he finished with that. Is like you got the rich military guys running the show.
Yep.
The guy who dodged the draft. Well, he didn't dodge it, but he was in the National Guard in Texas or something.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't find those records.
He kind of dodged it.
Yeah. He pretty much dodged it.
And then you're looking at like a minimum, like fuel, of a 5-year massive campaign with a major groundswell report,
Yeah.
building a movement.
If it's done right.
And so it's looking at an 18-month production timeline.
So that'd be too much.
It takes 6 months to build that campaign. I mean, you can start the campaign while the film is being made.
You should.
But you don't want to limit it to just 6 months after the film premieres.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
too short. It's too big an investment of time and money to. I mean, we think it's too big an investment for one of these types of films.
Now, the campaign that it would majorly influence would be the campaign after that. It was the presidential campaign after that, because then you have
2020.
Yeah, because then you have what 50 to 100 million people potentially using the movie as a tool to promote their message, and you have a huge group of people that it takes time to build that movement.
But
yeah, interesting.
I think rather than limiting it to one campaign, swing, because nothing's going to get decided about. Like, everybody's going to posture. They're going to say, I'm going to deal with the Keystone XL, I'm going to deal with this, I'm going to deal with that. Nothing's actually going to get done until the new guy gets in.
Sure, of course.
But that's where Fuel had power, because we came out during that first year of the cycle.
Oh, yeah.
He came into office. Fuel came in really strong.
There was a lot of green initiatives. I remember that, sure. Yeah, there was so many programs popping out. Get $5,000 to put a solar panel on your roof.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because you're really looking for. You're not looking for just. And again, it's not just national election you're looking at. You're talking about governors. You're talking about a lot of races are going to happen that year. So you kind of want to play it so whichever side gets in, you've got them either way.
Yeah.
And then you've got them.
Yeah.
So okay. So this is a little sample of our. This is just kind of some stuff that we've been shooting with fracking.
In the Bakken Reserve, the largest shale rock, oil and gas fields in North America, they are drilling as fast as they can.
In 1951, we first discovered oil in North Dakota. The problem we ran into is while there was a lot of oil, it was very, very dense shale rock. Geologists have known that shale rock holds a lot of oil for a long time. We just didn't have the technologies to be able to release it. Just in the last few years, we've come up with techniques that are very effective. If you have your gas or oil trapped in isolated little pores, you have to fracture the rock in order to create channels for the flow. This is done by pumping mixtures of water and sand and various other things down into the formations, which then cracks the rock. And it's hydrofracturing.
The process is also known as fracking. Fracking is a new and underregulated drilling technology, and there are concerns about its effect on our water and environment.
If you're going to produce oil or natural gas, it's an extractive industry. That means you're digging holes in the ground. Some people don't like that. They don't like the idea of going a mile under the earth, putting explosive charges in place. They worry about the effect on the water table. They worry about methane leaks. They worry about all the other nasty, naturally occurring earth ingredients that are part of extraction.
We have to understand that fracking is exempt. There are loopholes for fracking, specifically designed for fracking in 7 major bedrock environmental statutes. The Clean Air Act doesn't apply to fracking. The Clean Water Act doesn't apply to fracking. The Safe Drinking Water Act doesn't apply to fracking.
So yes, it's dirty. Yes, it is somewhat risky.
If fracking is so safe, why do you need special loopholes and special exemptions?
So,
That's great.
And that guy talking
Yeah.
was the former president of Shell Oil.
The old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
Which is crazy. You never think you'd get an oil guy saying,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it gives you a sense of our stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Clean,
And
crisp, clear. You know, there's nothing like you're totally gonna get it. Like, okay, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Okay. Great.
So, you know, that's the type of stuff we do. Very, very not shaky cam. So, your other option is to go with a narrative feature.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because Promised Land was such a sort of there's enough room in the market to do something really special with this.
That's what Josh Baron, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
He's a smart guy. There's a bunch of stuff that film did, which I would not do again. First of all, it pinned everything on Matt Damon.
Right.
So Matt was the only spokesperson really for the film.
Yeah.
Which means it's a lot easier to kind of take out one star and be like, this guy's kind of a nut job.
Sure.
I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I would have, you know, a very good, solid mix of stars with different backgrounds, different sort of racially appropriate stars, you know, like I would go with, rather than one A-lister, a bunch of B-plussers.
Okay.
Gives you a much broader campaign, much stronger campaign.
Yeah.
and maybe one A-lister.
And maybe
Not to say that you couldn't have any A-lister.
And maybe as part of the PR campaign, so just rolling them all out, you also have like families, people who have been impacted by the negative.
Woody Harrelson is an A-lister.
Totally. No, I mean,
Woody would be great.
He's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
we know him
That's cool. Yeah.
very well.
Yeah. You definitely do it. He hates that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a big anti-fracking guy. So, you know, focused on California, again, I keep coming back to this. Hollywood cares about Hollywood movies. New York cares about New York movies.
Sure.
We're different cultures.
Yeah.
Even with a good narrative, the call to action, that whole engineering has to be exactly the same. The danger exists with both films. You err too much toward your message, and it becomes obvious. That's part of what Promised Land was trying so hard not to be a message film, because it had Imagine Abu Dhabi stamped on the front of the film that everybody's like, okay, we know why you paid for it, you know.
Right. Right.
It tried so hard to counteract that it had no message.
Yeah. Interesting.
So rather than putting that front,
Yeah.
mention that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't broadcast it. It's just between. Yeah.
And then you can make a gutsy, ballsy, powerful film
Yeah.
that Hollywood will respect for actually saying something.
Yeah.
Then they get behind it.
That's why I assume he reached out to us, because we already have a reputation for being, you know,
A little brave.
activists,
A little brave,
filmmakers.
crazy.
Yeah.
And the other thing that the Promised Land did, which was a mistake, is it came at $15 million. Okay. When you read the document, we break down what the budget ranges are for films these days.
Sure. 15 million is it's not
They call
incredibly
mid-range.
high. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Is everyone doing well?
Yeah. Doing great. Thank you.
They call that a modest budget.
They call it a mid-range budget.
Let's see. Let me just see. Yeah, I think we're all right. I'll take the check maybe 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, if you come in at mid-range films are becoming very rare during this cycle in Hollywood, because a film for $15 million has everybody expecting that they're going to get paid.
Right.
And has everybody expecting that the money came from the studio because it's so much money.
Right.
Whereas a low-budget film, something under $10 million, engenders help.
Oh, okay.
Especially if it's cause-related.
Okay.
So actors go, I get it, I'm not making my full rate, but I'm in it for the message.
Right.
They commit. People, staff, the whole thing, everyone commits because they know what they get on the studio film.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. So would that be something like Woody would be maybe interested in doing, or I don't know, what, Susan Sarandon or Ed Begley Jr.?
All of those.
We didn't even put Ed on there.
I'd say of all the
Ed's a no-brainer.
Ed's coming to my baby shower on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Right. He'll just
Yeah.
That's great.
So again, it's all about a good amount of this is about positioning and perception. So you position it for a given perception.
Right.
You position it that it has a lot of money, that it came from somebody big, people ask questions, it gets dicey real fast.
Yeah.
People don't want to help you. It's like, well, pay me.
Sure.
The pay me happens at $50 million.
Yeah.
So if people are expecting to get pay me on $15 million, you're never going to be able to make anything happen because you don't have enough cash.
Sure.
You're better off asking it for almost for free, which is essentially what a low budget film is. So, and of course, it's got to include the same marketing distribution strategy. Our concept for this film would be something similar to Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, you may remember this.
No actual training.
I have kids.
It's been a little while.
Learned a lot right
Haven't seen it in a while, yeah.
I'm great with people.
Watch it and think about this.
Okay.
Think about
I'm
it.
an extremely fast learner. You got a really nice office.
Look,
You want my number?
I do.
How about this for number 6? That's how old my daughter is. 8 is the age of my son. 2 is how many times I've been divorced. 16 is the number of dollars I have in my bank account.
We got that out of the way because I didn't find you attractive either.
And you're even. I'm smart, I'm hardworking, and I'll do anything. And I'm not leaving here without a job. Don't make me beg.
In a law firm, you may want to rethink your wardrobe a little.
Well, as long as I have one ass instead of 2, I'll wear what I like. If that's all right with you. You might want to rethink those ties. Why are there medical records and blood samples in real estate files? Would you mind if I investigate this a little further?
What makes you think you can just walk in there and find what we need?
The probable is dead. Surveillance could be very
Same thing.
So it kills people.
Same thing. Yeah.
You're a lawyer? Hell no. I hate lawyers. I just work for them. We're going to have to spend a little time filling in the holes in your research. Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, okay? I think we got off on the wrong foot here. That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet in ugly shoes.
You gotta find a different job or a different guy.
That was like Aaron Eckhart's first big movie, too, wasn't it? Like his first breakout role. Aaron Eckhart?
Oh.
Personal, and it is.
That is my work, my sweat, my time away from my kids. If that's not personal, I don't know what is. Get them here for the movie. They're all fine. Every single one.
How did you do this?
Seeing as how I have no grants or legal expertise, I just went out there and performed 634 sexual favors.
She was in fuel.
Am I tired?
$20 million is more money than these people have ever dreamed of. These people don't dream about being rich. They dream about being able to watch their kids swim in a pool without worrying that they'll have to have a hysterectomy at the age of 20.
Dang.
By the way, we had that water brought in special for you folks.
Wow, that's right. I remember that.
Right?
That's right. So that's your light the water on fire moment. That's you get it on the...
People get sick, kids, dogs,
Yeah.
You know, the beauty of a great story is that it can be told many years later.
Yeah.
And, something similar to that would allow you to have... Most environmental activists are female. Strong female lead character, struggling mother, small farm, California town.
Yeah.
Fracking starts.
Sure.
Dogs start dying. She gets approached to sell her mineral rights.
Yeah.
Boom. Something very relatable.
Yeah, right.
So if we look at that, these are the celebrities we know, we work with. We work with them on media tours, we work with them in docs, we work with them in all sorts of different promotions. Michelle Rodriguez, Tim Robbins, Laura Dern, Francis Fisher, Sam Elliott, Amy Smart, Muriel Hemingway, Bruce Dern, Diane Lane, Woody Harrelson,
William Maester.
William and
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario. Thank you. And that's
not even all of the friends. I mean, like a lot of these people we're really good friends with.
These are the people who can pick up the phone and literally say, look, I got a low budget feature. I want you in. Here's why.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, great. Let me
because
check
of
my
our
schedule.
track record of our environmental films. They absolutely get on board.
That's great.
So the third option is to do both. You do both the doc and the narrative.
Sure, yeah. Why not?
And you use the doc strategically.
Mm-hmm.
You make a smaller doc, slightly smaller focus, but you release the doc ahead of the narrative, and you do key release strategies where you're bumping let's say you do the TV of the doc the week before the theatrical of the narrative.
Sure, yeah.
Gives the stars something to talk about. You film a bunch of the interviews for the doc on the set of the narrative.
Yeah.
So you're getting all that star power, looping it into the doc, getting it out on TV, getting it out on Netflix, getting it out on DVD, faster, ahead of the narrative.
Yeah.
So when you're at the theater, the take-home is the doc.
Yeah.
And this is your action guide, and this is your DVD, and now you have this powerful thing that you can go screen with your community for free because it's already been through the distribution cycle.
Sure. Interesting.
So that's a totally radical idea.
Though. You know, it's a great idea.
Again, everything has to be engineered together.
Yeah.
It's
synergy.
not separate.
Sure.
So as we were saying, we've got about an 18-month production cycle for ourselves, from start to finish. You can push it, you can do it faster, but one of two things will suffer: quality or budget. So to come in on budget, that's just what we find it takes.
Sure. But if money is not an issue,
you can go faster.
Okay.
They're interchangeable. Time and money, they're interchangeable up to a certain point.
Do they have a deadline that they're working under?
I mean, the only one that was discussed was the 2016 plan, where you just make it a big national issue, and you start asking some of the candidates, would you be considered a nationwide fracking ban?
Yeah. Remember when we did Fuel, we had people who were coming. They were trying to get elected. They would come to the theater and speak.
Right.
We had the governor.
That's the kind of power.
The governor of Washington State coming.
Yeah, I mean it's powerful because the film comes out
come to the theater
right before the election, and then there's a lot of buzz right around that time, and then all of these films have really incredible panels, discussions afterwards. There's a lot of media buzz, so it does absolutely affect the campaign. But my point earlier was you just don't want to limit it.
You don't want to limit it to that.
Okay.
Absolutely
Sure. Okay.
But you can use the campaign for your advantage. So
and the films become a mouthpiece for all of the people that are already in the movement, and to get more people into the movement.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a tool.
So this is the basic structure of the campaign. Start with a large festival premiere. Sundance, for instance, or South by Southwest,
or
Toronto.
Cannes?
Yeah.
But if it's in the U.S., Cannes not as important.
Right.
Sure.
So you want a U.S. premiere,
demographic.
Go after U.S.
Rebecca, Sundance.
Sure. Okay.
Even Santa Barbara.
Yeah, Santa Barbara.
2,000 people opening night film festival. It's one of the richest communities in America.
Ooh.
Very powerful.
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest.
But
they shy away from oil issues.
Yeah.
Because they're there. So you do a festival tour. Bang, bang, bang. Do festivals. You do media with your celebrities at the festivals. Around that time, you start the social media campaign. That will continue for the entire thing. It will build and build and build and build if it's made correctly. That includes advertising online. That includes 50 to 100 people who are reviewers, who are constantly seeing the film in different cities, and appear as Mary J., Bob Smith, and just taking over the blogosphere.
Sure. All right.
A lot of strategy, a lot of clips released ahead of time. You're building that entire world the whole time. After your festival premiere tour, you do your New York City and your LA premieres. Very important for reviews. That establishes the film in the media.
Gotcha.
Once it's established, you'll have a couple people go against it, but by and large, if you establish it correctly, the medias are heard. They want to follow the leader. And the New York Times and LA Times are the leaders.
Yeah.
So those are important. Then you do your theatrical release. We look at between, for small films, 10 to 40 cities for major theatrical release.
Yeah.
Beyond that, many cities will pick it up without you doing anything. they'll call and they'll say, we want it in.
They want it.
We want it in wherever. And we're like, well, we're not spending any ad money there. We don't care. We want it.
Yeah.
How long? A week. Great. You got it. Bang.
And then the community rallies behind it.
Yeah.
The main objective is if it's 10 to 40, you pack the theater.
Yeah.
Right.
So that everybody is coming to a packed theater.
Blow those out. And that spurs then somewhere in the range of 100 to 200 community screenings across the country.
Gotcha.
Groups, affiliates, all sorts of different groups.
People talking about it.
Yeah, and this cycle can go on for some time. From the festival, from film festivals through you can just keep doing this.
Yeah.
As long as you can keep that machine going, you can do it. We did it over 5 years with the field. College screenings is next. We've done over 200 college screenings across the country with our films.
Yeah.
Want to talk about a powerful demographic?
The youth
Daddy,
movement.
how
Sure.
come?
Yeah, right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next is your TV broadcast. We see that as like a blip on the radar. It's an important moment, but I wouldn't build an entire strategy around your TV broadcast because it's very fast and it's very ephemeral. It's come and it's gone. DVD release, very important, especially for the Midwest. Walmart still sells 55% of the DVDs in the United States of America.
Nice.
Costco sells a tremendous amount of DVDs. And then there are special markets like faith-based markets that don't use any of these other methods, so they have to see it through DVD.
Sure.
So, very important. We find that DVD is more important than TV. Then your digital release, Netflix, you got it. Oscar campaign.
Get it nominated, maybe even a win.
Yep. Very hard with a fracking doc because there's already been a nomination and the documentary selection committee is very small.
Okay.
And it costs money.
Sure.
So like
There's a price tag for I'm getting nominated.
yeah, so like Blackfish was a great movie. It was probably better than The Cove. It just came out. It's about the SeaWorld and the whales.
Oh yeah, Josh Brown was talking about that, where he was saying that the filmmaker, once SeaWorld came out publicly against it, that's what blew it up.
Boom.
Right.
If SeaWorld had just kept their mouths shut.
Right, it would have been a nothing.
Yeah.
Right. But they couldn't get it nominated because documentary selection committee is probably 25 people. They feel that they've already made that film. They've already given that feeling. But with a narrative feature, that option exists because Promised Land did not do that.
Sure. Okay.
So, and then political screenings. And this again can happen at the same time as this and this, but the bigger ones like the White House, the state houses, all of those types of things tend to happen toward the tail end of the campaign. So again, if your 2016 starts here, you know, you're at the end of 2016 here.
Right.
People are getting elected.
And people are getting elected. And after that,
Very
after they're elected, they need to keep the promises.
But you said in the theater, and I have it on video, and it's on the blog, on the website, and it's on Twitter, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Very powerful. Okay, so what's our market reach? We essentially work with 6 verticals, and these are things that we have developed for the better part of 2 decades.
Sure.
Grassroots. We have a number of organizations that activate our grassroots base.
Okay.
Okay? Most of them are paid.
Gotcha.
Okay? Film festivals.
They did The Cove, that one.
Yes. Film festivals, again, very important press, very important for reviews, very important for perception. They're fueling much of what will come later. We have direct relationships with the independent theaters around the country.
Oh, cool.
So we have a co-producer that speaks at the independent theaters convention. He has distributed to most of them. We've distributed to most of them. We have a relationship with AMC at the top level. They will play any film we make.
Right.
And anywhere.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And that's a very kind of interesting but powerful card.
Yeah.
And then there are other various affiliates. Universities, as I said, we do a lot of work with universities. That builds credibility. It also allows you to do a back and forth where you're taking people from the university, putting them in the film, and then you're screening it, and then that university becomes part of your prestige of the film. Oh, we have an MIT professor. Oh, we have this professor. We have that.
Yeah.
NGOs.
Which these 2 organizations, their main focus is anti-fracking.
Which one? Which ones?
Environment California and Code Blue.
Would that be something?
And the
that,
NRDC.
Like, they accept donations and things like that too. Like, is that something another arena where my clients could,
Absolutely.
put some money?
They would work with us on this film.
Yeah.
And they would make sure that all of their all of their members saw the film.
Yeah.
They would speak at the screenings. They would send out email blasts. I mean, Environment America, I don't even know how many members they have.
They have a lot.
A lot.
The cumulative reach, these are the grass tops of the green movement. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a very powerful, these are people we can pick up this phone to who will take our phone calls.
Who have these organizations.
You know, participant media can buy these connections. Mm-hmm. We have these as friends.
Already.
They speak at our events.
Gotcha. They come to our house. We have dinner together. These are not like people that we know of.
Right.
There is no other production company in America that has that kind of deep reach into the environmental movement.
Gotcha.
And I'm not buttering her own toast.
Okay. No, gotcha.
Rebecca was in Prancer, as we mentioned. It was a tremendously successful movie, ironically, in the Christian market.
Hilarious.
So, because of that, she's got almost
huge Christian
30 years.
I have to be careful what I say on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Following. So there's all these organizations most people don't know that are faith-based eco-organizations. Mm-hmm. Interfaith Power and Light has 1,400 congregations alone. Some of them
I didn't want to be too. Yeah.
So some of those congregations are big. Mega churches. 20, 30, 40,
oh,
50,000.
Sure, yeah. Ohio's got a huge one, World Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
10,000.
And being stewards of the earth is something that's important to them.
So we try to design everything that we do so that it can funnel back and forth through these verticals, and so that the verticals can intermix, support one another, and so that our goal is not to break the box office. Our goal
to break even
is to create a movement.
And to create the movement. Okay.
It's about the impact.
It's about the impact. It's about eyeballs.
Yeah, right. I mean, money is not an issue.
It's never been our main objective.
Right.
So, if we look at the recent successful social action campaign documentaries, these are some of the main titles, and they're very specific. They have a specific agenda. They're made from start to finish with that agenda, and then they have a follow-on social action campaign that's linked to them. Invisible War just won Oscar nomination.
I think didn't it win? I thought it won the Academy Award.
Did it win?
I don't know. At the very least, it was nominated, and one of our editors was the editor on that film.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So we know this world pretty well. We know the dynamics. We know the different companies that work on the back end. We know we are one of the companies that work on the front end.
One of our co-producers works on Expo.
And what we find over and over again, it's very simple. The budget dictates the impact the film will have.
Awesome. Sure.
It's just, that's
just
simple.
The more money you spend,
the better film you get, the more people you rally around it, the bigger impact you have.
As long as it's well thought out.
Sure.
Like Food Inc., most of these have an additional budget. Michael Moore tends to incorporate a lot of his social media and social marketing into his film budget. So when you see $9 million for Sicko, he doesn't break down and say, it cost me this much to make the film. Oh, and by the way, I hired 10,000 people.
Yeah, right.
That's what I did with the Uninformed.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Okay, so sometimes they're upfront about how they do it, and sometimes they're not. But trust me, all of these, to succeed, have a minimum amount that is equal to their budget that's going on in social action campaign.
Right. Got you. So it's $9 million budget, but then it could be 9 additional million for
him.
He probably lumped it in. He's the big exception.
Okay.
But Food Inc. spent way more than $1 million on their, that was their production budget.
Yeah.
They had an additional marketing budget on top of that.
Gotcha.
Well, Stony Hill Farms funded it.
Yeah.
And then, that was bought. So we come in, our films currently come in at 1.75 for production. That's what we just got commissioned to make Pump, we got commissioned 1.75 to do.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
And is that enough, for you guys?
That's enough to produce a high-quality film.
Sure.
3D graphics, nice animation, good research, very clean, very powerful.
Yeah.
And that also included a lot of... that specific film was very difficult to make. The clients were very specific about what they did and did not want.
Okay.
And that's the other thing about us, too. We are very client-oriented.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
we have worked with some of the most difficult clients on the planet.
Yeah.
Right there, like, we've been told that they compare with Harvey Weinstein in terms of their difficulty.
Yeah.
And they always walk away satisfied with that.
That's great. Great.
So, on the flip side, this is the low-budget market. Again, under $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
These are recent successes, and you can see there's a pretty big range.
Sure.
And you've got, feel-good films, you've got comedies, you've got really hard dramas. There's Woody in a $6.5 million film.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
Gotcha.
So our philosophy of how to make this sort of Aaron Brockovich type film would be something that's shot in California,
Mm-hmm.
very close to here,
Mhm.
small town,
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
less
it's
than
very
an hour
close to
drive.
where we live.
Mm-hmm.
You're not burning a lot of money on location fees, which Promised Land did. You're not burning a lot of money on actors that maybe don't feel good about the film. Everyone's all in. And that we budgeted at $5 million for the physical production of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, toward the lower end of that. But still, A-listers, a bunch of B-plussers,
Mm-hmm.
and a very strong, we outlined writers, we outlined everything.
Right. Okay.
So what is our vision for marketing and distribution and impact campaign look like? Essentially, to do all of this, you're talking about 12 to 18 months after the film is done.
Mm-hmm.
So you spend 18 months, okay, you want to do it faster, maybe you could get it done in as little as a year, but I wouldn't ever commit to doing a film in under a year.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to spend another year and a half on the film.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You could do a film under a year.
You could.
We could do a
be
docket
painful.
under a year. It would be good.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to commit to it. Here's the thing. Anyone aside from the studio who says that they can guarantee distribution
Mm-hmm.
is not being 100% honest.
Okay. Yeah.
The only guarantee...
Unless they've done it themselves.
Yeah, the only guarantee you have for distribution is if you have if you're going to build a distribution machine.
Sure. Yeah.
You can't go to a film festival and expect somebody to pick it up. Because you know Harvey Weinstein, you can call him on the phone. Doesn't mean Harvey Weinstein is going to pick up your film.
Right.
People have what's called a first look deal, which means that studio will take a look at my film before anybody else, and if they like it, they'll take it. That doesn't mean that they're definitely taking it.
Yeah.
The only guarantee, especially in the independent world, that you have that somebody will actually see your movie beyond the film festival is if you plan your own distribution. We learned it the hard way.
Yeah. Right. But that's good. I mean, you guys have
also
proven.
The flip side of that is if you build your own distribution, you control that distribution.
Yeah. Right.
And then you have power.
Sure.
Because if you're not just trying to get a return on your movie, but you are trying to activate political change, well, you might open in D.C., even though D.C. is one of the worst film grossing markets in the country. Even though you know that the theater numbers are going to be terrible.
Yeah.
You also know that the ads will go in the papers, the cable TV ads will run, the social media will be targeted, and if the senators aren't there, all the staffers are going to get targeted.
And it will be reviewed.
And it will get reviewed in the paper.
Right.
So no distributor in their right mind would do that.
Here's the other thing, though. We wouldn't say no to Lionsgate if they wanted to come and distribute the film. They picked up some digital rights for The Big Fix at one point in time. So it's not like, we're like, oh, we have to do it ourselves because we know how to do it. No, it's like, how do you get as many people to watch this movie as possible? Which is a very different question than what the studios and most filmmakers are asking, which is, how do I make back my money?
Right. Yeah, it's two different beats.
Different worlds.
They're not mutually exclusive, but at the same time, you have to make choices when you're going for a political end that a distributor would not approve of.
Yeah.
They'd say you're crazy.
Yeah,
We can hold that.
But your objective is different, and you're going in it with a different one. So, our budget that we've created for you to look at is, for docs, this is what we spent on fuel.
Right.
We made the movie with about $2 million, and we spent about $2 million on the distribution.
Gotcha.
Okay? This is a very strategic campaign. 10 festivals, 20 theatrical markets.
Yeah.
Meaning, you could do Los Angeles, but maybe you want to release in North LA, you want to release in Hollywood, you want to release in Santa Monica, and you want to do one in Long Beach. That's all one market. Okay? some of it may be divided. Maybe that's 2 markets in some of the bigger cities. But the basic idea is that from those 20 big releases where you're spending a lot of money on cable, you're spending a lot of money on newspaper, that's where you spur the rest of the release.
Gotcha.
So that's, and then for narrative, you know, it makes sense. You want a slightly larger market, you know.
Yeah, right.
I'd like to see that doubled to 40 markets.
Yeah.
And again, some of those will be money makers. A lot of them, because you're going after a political agenda, will be money losers.
Okay.
So what happens at the end of the day? At the end of the day, most movies make some money back. Our philosophy is that we don't see many docs making more than their initial budget back.
Sure.
So the best case scenario is you're going to make the amount of money you put into the film back.
Sure.
That's rare.
Okay.
That's rare. People go, oh, but Morgan Spurlock. Yes, and he released the film at a specific point in time, and there was a lot of cultural things. There's so many factors. For the most part, we see docs fail to reap any serious financial returns. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's your Michael Moore.
Right.
Yeah.
There's an exception. He's the exception. Or
Sure. But since that's not our concern, what we want is the social change. We want the meetings, the BP to lose $3 billion. Yeah.
Exactly. So we look at returns in 2 different ways. Option number 1 is a straight return, which means that whatever's made in distribution, whatever sales deals are made, the investor is looking to make their money back, or at least a significant portion of it, and that's our objective. Generally what happens is you get a spike for the movie when it comes out. You'll make the majority of your money sort of on those initial deals, and then the money tapers off over time. So that's a very simple kind of equation.
Sure.
What we did with Fuel was this. We cycled the return money back into the distribution of the movie. And what it enabled us to do was create this long, powerful, steady burn. Because, let's face it, you spend $2 million on a movie, $2 million on distribution. I think Fuel, the total actual hard money that we got back was less than $250,000.
Sure.
But it was seen by over 50 million people.
Right. Right, and it had an impact.
Yeah. It did what we wanted.
The financial return, I don't think, is a big concern for us.
Yeah, but so either way, what we do with our investors is we create biannual reports. If they want more frequent reports, we can work that. But our objective is we spend 1.5 years of our lives making the movie. Everyone we know, of course, their love and sweat and energy into the movie. We want to see the movie succeed to no end.
Yeah, right, of course.
That's our passion.
Yeah.
And we'll put another 1.5 years into making sure that happens. So that's the basic synopsis of how we have worked in the past and how we're working now.
Gotcha. All right. I'll take the check.
There's no hurry. I was just making sure that we're busy in there, so I was just making sure that you're okay.
Okay. No, you're fine. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Everybody here is doing a great job.
Thank you. Is there a room charge today, sir?
Oh, no, stay here.
Brandon, can we split that with you?
No, please.
You sure?
Yeah. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate it. It was delicious salad.
Yeah. That's
I talk too much, so.
I have my card out. I'm going to give you my card.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and I'm all out of cards, but you guys already have my email and my number if you need it. So.
And then I'm also going to give you some extra pitch decks so you can send them to your clients.
Oh, sure, yeah. And I want to, actually, if I could have another for Steven, that would be great, too.
Sure.
I'll run to the bathroom. Basically, you guys are great. This is great stuff. It seems perfect, really. I like the idea of the documentary narrative, simultaneous, and the biggest thing is obviously just that you guys know where the money's coming from and you don't have a problem with it,
We want to stop fracking in the United States.
Right. And so do they. So, yeah.
I'm going to steal this one because it has grease on it.
Oh, that was probably me. I'm a messy guy.
I think we both have to get to a point in our lives and our filmmaking careers where you just kind of wake up one day and you're like, look, if I'm so I'm never going to get anything done. You know, I'm trained as a classical filmmaker. Rebecca's been in front of and behind the camera since she was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Film's in her blood.
Right.
You know?
Making a difference is in our blood.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the way it works. People come to you, they have a great idea, they have means to do it, you align with the idea, and not really interested in personal motivations or where people are from. Like, it's not important. What's important is we share a common goal.
Yeah.
We have a common vision, and we have the ability to do it together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a win-win-win.
Interest in not disclosing where the money comes from. And I don't think anybody would bat an eye that we were making this film. This is like the natural next film in the line of progression of films, which lead to this very point in time.
Yeah, especially if you come visit us, which we'd love you to have you up.
Sure.
As you drive up to Ojai from the 101, you pass through an oil field.
Oh, really?
With
pump jacks everywhere.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of them.
That field is directly on top of the Monterey Shale, and that field will soon get fracked unless we do something.
And we're going to.
And that field
committed to fighting it.
Also sits on top of the aquifer that we drink.
That feeds our plants. It's going to feed my
baby. So, from a personal perspective,
it's huge.
You couldn't find people who were more motivated.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah.
There you go.
Great.
Hey, you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'll go to the bathroom. I'll handle this. You eat your soup.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You take it. Do you need anything?
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Here, you get the last laugh.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Sorry, sir. I think I got that for you.
Yeah. Sure. I'll come with you. I'll follow you.
Oh, we'll just do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it. Cool. Thank you. And then where's the bathroom?
The bathroom's going to be back through where you came in.
Okay.
You're going to go to the middle of the lobby and take a right.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Thank you. It's a nice spot.
Thanks. You tried.
Yeah. Is tip included, or?
It is not, sir.
Okay. I'll take care of it. Great. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. 25 is good, yeah. Where is the one with the boy? I had to do this for a while. Okay. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so it's right over here?
Would you like your item, Bill, or?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. Thank you.
Got real.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you, the campaign and marketing budget for the narrative feature, just this line got cut off on the bottom.
Okay, but
the total is here. Oh, and then, we went ahead and put the top line budgets in there for the film. And then I have the matching line item budget.
Oh, okay, great.
I didn't put them in here because it would have turned this into like a 40-page document.
Sure.
Actually, it would turn into a 60-page document, already 36 pages.
Right, okay.
But I have both for the narrative and for the documentary, the complete line item budget that matches the top sheet that's in there. So
Gotcha.
just send me an email if you want me to send it to you.
If they need anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great. I'll circle back everything to Steven and everybody else, so it's just kind of like, I mean, you guys make a great case, you know, very professional, very, you know.
Stuff done.
Yeah, that's great, yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. That was pretty, I mean, you know, there's the one main question, but after that, I mean...
What's the main, what you mean, like, do we mind who's the funding?
Yeah, that was the, you know, like, I mean, Josh Brown was saying that we were trying to set up a meeting with Josh Fox, and then Josh Barron was like, yeah, I don't think Josh would talk to you. Yeah, so that's just an example of, if we sat, you know, we were looking just this, have a sit down with him and be like, so, you know, would you be interested in receiving X amount of funding for your next whatever, and then if he asked where does it come from, and I told him that he wouldn't do it. But,
if anybody ever asked us where the money came from, we would say from donors who care about this issue.
Yeah, right. And it's an honest answer, and
It doesn't matter. It's so not important.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. So.
Oh, I wish we'd brought him films. Some of our films.
I mean, it's online, right?
This is on Netflix.
Okay.
The Fuel's a little bit harder to find right now because it's undergoing a distribution transfer.
Yeah.
So.
I have DVDs, but they're in the car.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, you know, this is even more, you know, I can't show them a movie. They're just going to kind of take our word for it, you know. So,
look, you know, the bottom line is, here's the thing. We want to do this film.
Yeah.
We have a personal interest. We have the resources. We have the capacity. We have the contact. We know how the machine has to work.
Yeah.
We're ready to do it.
Yeah.
And
we have integrity.
We have no interest in making a film and then fighting, you know, cutting off our nose to spite our face. Like, in terms of that being an issue, that is, like, already not an issue.
Right. Yeah.
We're used to working with silent partners. We've done it a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who want to see different things get made, put into movies, who don't want their names on films.
We would put people who do want their name on the film, like the Code Blue Foundation.
Yeah.
They want their name on the film. They're the anti-fracking group that's
right.
fracking in New York. You know, so we've got people that would be really happy about being involved in this film.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as ever even being a remote problem in the slightest.
Yeah.
But you know, we also work well with deadlines, and we love sending review cuts, you know, for comments and feedback. And part of our process is we show rough cuts to like lots of test groups. So you know, we do tons of test screenings, get feedback to make sure that the content's working in the film. Yeah. And we love it. We love this process.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you guys are good at it. You know what you're doing. So yeah, all I can do, I'll circle back with everybody, and then we'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
I have researchers, and they were Google. They've kind of pulled together kind of just a list of promising environmental filmmakers. You know, like you said, we want somebody with integrity. We want somebody with credibility. So.
I saw your email. I actually thought it was spam. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's Steven's fault. See, that's where the young whiz kid comes in. Like, don't call your email a unique opportunity. What are you doing, Steven? So that's why I was glad I called, and it's fine. Yeah, it's just fine. It's like, hello, I'm a prince from Nigeria, and I have a very interesting offer for you. I'm like, okay, Steven.
Yeah, we know all about that.
Handle
filmed in Nigeria
last year.
Oh yeah, sure. A very big very big, like interesting oil industry there too. It's divided the nation.
We
came back alive. That was the big miracle.
That's all that matters.
Sure. Were you guys in Lagos or?
Yeah. Lagos. We went into the Belfast. We snuck into a covered boat and ditched our security.
Really?
We went and filmed the people.
That's the way to do it. That really is the way to do it. I was there as well, and everyone was like, I was in Abuja, and everyone was like, what's that? Okay, yeah. So they were just like, don't leave the hotel. It's dangerous.
Don't even sit next to the window.
And I ended up talking to these guys, these Nigerian guys who had studied in London, and they're very well off. They're like, Mike, come with us, you know. So.
Right. Did they take you out of the town?
Yeah, and it was so much fun. Shawarma, and we did this thing, palm wine with Hennessy. It was like,
They love Hennessy.
yeah, they love Hennessy there. It's like their big,
I had a similar experience.
Okay. Yeah, Nigeria is great, but I'm sure it can be really bad in some parts too.
We
filmed it in a nice club.
You know this in Nigeria when they say
Tennessee. I didn't go, but it wouldn't have been appropriate to see that. I was the only woman that was not a prostitute.
Yeah. Sure, that was also very heavy in the, I can't do that yet. I'm scared of that. But there were some businessmen there who had no problem.
Right.
Oh, man.
We filmed the champagne bag.
you alive.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Good. Okay, cool.
Are you guys parked here? Or?
Before we get the car.
Actually, if you want to give them, are you giving some copies of do you want copies of yourself?
No, I mean, it's online. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
it'll be
good.
fine. Great. Okay, so I will be in touch.
That's good, Brandon.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Really
Thanks
nice
for the
to meet
snack.
you.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Thank you for being a listener.
Yeah, I like listening.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So,
Awesome.
thank you.
Call or email if you have any questions.
I definitely will. I'll follow up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
See you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, man. Hi. 影多. Where you at? You still in Beverly Hills? Yeah, I'm in Korea, Japantown. Okay.
Nice to meet you, Stephen. Josh Takal. Mohammed. Nice to meet you, Josh Takal. Pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Glad you guys made it.
I'm so sorry.
We were a little worried.
Delayed. 28-hour flight from Dubai. 28-hour flight.
Oh my God.
Delay. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Sorry.
Oh, it's good to see you.
I know. Mohammed Rashid. Nice to meet you, Rebecca.
Okay,
nice
good.
to meet you. How you doing?
Mariel.
Mohammed Rashid. Maribel. Nice to meet you.
What a pleasure to meet you.
I'm sorry, what's your name? Ed. Mr. Ed. Nice
Very
to meet
nice to meet you.
Like Mr. Ed, the show.
Right.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please join us.
Thank you. How are you?
This is Mariel.
Nice to meet you, Mariel. Thank you for seeing me today. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
this. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, we were only
Yes.
we were only nervous. We got hungry, so apologies. We started eating.
She's
Very pregnant, so. I just only look.
How many months?
I was due last Thursday.
And what happened?
I'm still pregnant.
So you're so due.
I'm right.
Get you some water. Here's some
We're trying to get him to play songs that will induce labor, so.
That will work.
Like happy birthday.
untouched water.
He works on animals, I heard.
There you go.
Probably does.
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
I have many kids. I have 3 wives.
You have 3 wives?
Yes.
That's, I don't know, he couldn't handle 3 wives.
This they come and practice in Dubai.
Yes.
Yes.
I've never been there. I'd love to go there one day.
Really?
Yeah, I hear it's beautiful.
You've never been there?
I've never been there.
We've never been. We've never been. We'd like to go.
Are you hungry?
There's many people that look like you in Dubai.
I heard.
Just like him? Just like that? Like clones? There's a whole movie set of just people that look like
And
that.
he gets to have more wives there. Me, I don't know what I get.
Well, you get to be treated like a queen.
Ah, I like that.
Yes. You'll have a chauffeur, a maid in your house, and you don't have to do anything.
Oh my God. So there.
You know? Okay. It's a little different than digging the whole thing.
So everybody has luxury. Everybody is happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I can only handle, and this is saying in a very good way. I can only have love. Enough. There's so much love. There's only enough for one.
This is good for her.
French fries?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We were just hungry.
You want something to drink?
I don't drink alcohol. Please forgive me, but
That's okay. We're all dry.
really, I wanted to offer you a nice bottle.
None of us realized.
Came and offered it. That was
Yeah,
very
they did
nice.
offer it.
Yes.
I don't drink.
This is kind
We're
of
all dry.
Thank you.
It's okay. Well, Rebecca especially does.
Might help with the labor.
Well, it's against my religion.
Yes.
Right.
This is the reason I don't drink.
Yeah.
So please forgive me. I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's a practice of my culture and religion.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Start off that way.
Yeah.
I may get into less trouble.
Steven, you would end up with all of the bottles of wine, just you, because none of us drink.
I'm not going to either. I apologize. I'm late. We're late. I have another meeting to go to soon, so I can't go. So I don't want to go there.
Yeah, right. So what is everybody's schedule like? What time do you guys have to leave by?
He has an audition at 2 o'clock.
No, I have
What time is it?
It's a meeting with another client who's I'm looking at for another project that I'm working on. Is it far away? It's in Culver City.
Oh, that is far. It's far, but it's not far.
It's supposed to be 1:45, so that's like 45 minutes. But yeah, you'll need at least 20 minutes to get there. I may push you back. It's probably going to be.
Oh, thank you. I'm drinking water for now. Yes.
Yeah.
This flight was delayed from Dubai. Do you have
Did you pick him up?
sparkling water? Please, let me get a sparkling water. Thank you.
I have, he gave me a fresh water, untouched, ungood. I'm just going to have a really small salad of some kind.
You want just a mixed green salad, sir? You want a Caesar salad?
Did you just get any fries?
Ed, what do you do?
I'm an actor. Yes.
Whoa.
I'm in television and movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
All right. Welcome to Hollywood.
Thank you. Thank you.
Born here in Hollywood many years
Yeah, the weather is beautiful over here.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
I've lived here my
Over
whole
there
life.
it's always hot. It's always hot.
Yes,
We're
I
always
heard.
sweating.
But I hear it's very nice. I've seen pictures of Dubai. It looks like a wonderful part of the world.
It depends what parts you go to.
I'm sure that's true. Same here in LA, believe me.
Right. Yeah?
You go down to South Los Angeles, it's very different than here.
Well, see, like, what I understand is that in America, things are a little bit different than Dubai or Middle Eastern countries. Middle Eastern countries, they have their exterior view, and then they have their interior whatever they do.
Right.
As opposed to over here, everything is kind of transparent. Over there, although you see the beautiful country and you see the beautiful things, there is another side to Dubai and to the Emirates and to that, which I don't fully agree with. But there are things that are cultural imposers upon everybody that no one can actually focus on.
Okay.
No one can focus on because they can't do anything about it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. There are too many powerful men. Nobody can talk to about the law. And, they get away with murder, as they say. Yes.
Got it. Well, our political system isn't perfect here either. Far from it, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Far from it.
Well, that means we both are in the same boat.
Yeah.
We just pretend like it's all okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's true.
We
And
need
we are
you.
allowed to. Yeah, there you go. Very similar.
Yeah.
Washington and Hollywood are a lot like it's all an illusion.
Yes.
All special effects. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
As long as it looks good to the eye, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's it.
Washington and Hollywood are very similar in that way.
Right.
Yeah,
That's true.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So here was. How about
you have soup?
This soup.
What kind of
Tortilla
soup?
soup and other choke soup today.
I'll take one choke soup. Please. My stomach is very upset from traveling.
Can I bring you some bitters and soda?
Bitters.
When did you get in?
Just right now.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Where did you get on? LAX?
LA?
Yeah, and delayed and
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
how many hours?
28-hour flight.
28 hours.
One flight? 28
28 hours.
28 hours.
Is it supposed to? It's supposed to take.
Well, there was a delay before we left for about an hour.
Okay.
But that wasn't. This is how long the flight takes.
That's how long it takes. Okay. Just takes what it takes.
And that's one flight?
That's one flight.
No stops.
No stops.
Wow.
I mean, Australia. We've gone to it. I was born in Australia, so I go back and forth every once in a while. But even that is only 18 hours,
I would like
maybe
to-
19. Yeah. So that's a long flight.
What airways do you travel?
When we go to Australia, we fly United.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I was on Air France.
Oh, they're usually pretty good.
They are good.
They're very good.
They are good.
Yeah.
And their service was good, and they tried to host me as much as possible. But travel's travel.
Travel's travel.
Travel's travel.
Exactly.
That's over a day.
Between Dubai and here, how many stops do you make?
They make one stop in France.
Because they're
for
friends.
And how long
6
are you
hours.
there?
6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same airplane. Like, we don't leave the airplane.
You don't have to leave.
Yeah, we don't have to leave.
Do you sleep good in a plane? Are you able to sleep on the plane?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
I sleep very good.
But to me personally, I don't sleep on planes.
It's not really sleep to me.
I can't sleep.
It's always waking up every couple of minutes. So
and I think,
it's never.
and I'm up.
I can't sleep at all. I can't sleep on a plane.
I know.
I don't care what anyone says. I hear people can't sleep, but every couple of minutes I'm up. Every couple of minutes I'm up.
Except having a baby. I think she's going to be awake for that.
Physically incapable, but
right.
There's nothing to do about it.
So,
other than that,
I know. We wondered about that.
yeah, he wasn't here when we got here. We could. Okay.
How long are you in town?
I'm sorry?
How long are you here visiting?
I should be here for 2 weeks.
Oh, for 2 weeks. Thank God you don't. Yeah,
yes, because I still have to go to New York. I have some business with Saudi Arabian Airlines. There's a princess and princesses that come. Hey.
Beautiful.
Princess and princesses that come that travel to the U.S., especially those who have cancer. We end up sending them to Washington. There's a hospital in Washington, D.C. What's the hospital? It's from,
the Mayo Clinic?
No.
The Mayo is in.
It's very well known.
It's a cancer. It's a cancer.
Yes. So we send them.
I don't
over
know.
there.
I'm sorry. I can't remember the name.
No, that's fine. We send them over there and we provide for them all their travel needs, all of their. Yes. We send them the Saudi security, the American security. We make sure that that everything's taken care of for them because they don't need to deal with these issues while the relative is sick.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah. So you help organize all of that.
I still think McDonald's fries are one of the best.
It's a lot of travel.
It's not only for the New York ones. Yes, wherever they travel.
Okay.
It's whatever.
Got it. I understand.
It's good to keep connection with others.
Yeah.
It's good.
I agree.
To let them know that you're there.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Understood.
Maybe that's why they taste so good.
Eventually, with other people, it comes down to money. It comes down to how much money they make.
Yeah.
It comes down to what is the profit they're going to make.
So I have a question. So we have.
And in order for me to sing a song
and then I
that I love
you have questions
to
for
you,
Ed or
I have to sing it in the language that you understand.
I don't know if he's
Because no matter how much I sing it in the language that I understand, if you don't understand it, you're going to
So maybe I can introduce them, like know who they are.
So I have to find out what language you like, what language you understand, and sing it to you in a language you understand.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm always trying to find out what language they understand.
I see.
And I like to sing the songs in their language.
I understand. Okay. You and I are in the same line of business.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when you make a film, when we direct a movie, you have to figure out what the audience feels, what they know, what they don't know, what do they love, what do they hate, and what's going to make them excited or sad or happy or anticipate something else, What's the right combination of things, So then you have to sing it in their language, the same song, and then they can hear it. Yeah.
And that's a talent.
That's the hardest thing.
Not everybody knows that.
It's the hardest thing.
Not everybody knows that.
Because you can always communicate to yourself, to your loved ones, to people you know well. When you want to communicate to the world, you have to
learn their language. Because that's what makes communication. That's what brings people's souls closer to each other.
Yeah.
And it helps all other issues. There's a more positive energy. Things run smooth. There's no negative energy. There's no opposition. There's no things run smooth.
Yeah.
And I like things to run smooth.
Us too.
My basic question is, if we are here, we have to make sure everybody's on board.
Yes,
Yeah.
us too. Good. Well, I was just asking Stephen, what would be the most effective use of our time together? Because Ed and Mariel, they're two of our celebrity friends. So, Mariel, are you familiar with Ernest Hemingway? The famous novel writer. He's a very famous author. And so that's Mariel's grandfather. And she's a Academy Award nominated actress.
It's an honor. It's really an honor.
No,
it's an honor. I am familiar with Mr. Hemingway's work.
Yes.
I am. It's an honor.
And she's been in, how many movies have you been in? Like, a lot.
100. You've been in a lot of movies.
Yeah. 20 that are good and
Me too. Maybe 2 that are good with me.
Yeah, there you go. And she's been acting since she was a child, so she's very well known.
And what do you do?
I'm a movie producer and filmmaker.
I see.
Yes.
So all the people that I love are here.
Yes.
Before we leave, I need to take a picture. Please.
And Ed, he's also a famous actor. He's been in some of our, great. Both of these people are people that we both bow down to. They're very well known. People recognize them all around the world. They're very talented. So we're very grateful to you guys that you took your time this afternoon.
Happy to spend time with you and meet you.
What movie have you been in?
A lot. Blue Velvet. No. Manhattan. Right, Manhattan. Yes.
I don't know. A lot.
So Woody Allen movie, Manhattan. A lot. I'm embarrassed to say it.
It doesn't matter.
It's interesting. So you are the best at what you do.
Well, we try to be.
That's good.
And we
That's
also
good.
believe in what they do. I mean, one of the reasons why we decided to come is because their impact on documentary films in the world is one of the few. They make a big statement in the world of documentary films that
Their films
nobody
are
else.
very well regarded.
Yeah, very well regarded. Their films, the films that they make, and we both Ed and I have such admiration for the quality of the films that they make, and how they make them, and how they distribute them, and how they get the message out there. So it's cool. So that's why we bow to you.
So you sing songs for people in the language they understand.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. And Ed and Mariel are also very much against fracking here in the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're all committed to that, to stopping fracking from happening in the United States.
What motivates you?
Well, for us, Rebecca and I live north of Los Angeles. We live in a small town called Ojai. It's very beautiful. And we moved there because we had filmed an oil spill, a big oil spill. We filmed it, and because of that, Rebecca got very sick. And so the doctor said, you can't have children. She had, they thought that she was not going to be okay.
Obviously, that's not. Yeah.
Right.
But hearing that from someone is traumatizing.
Yeah. So it was very traumatic.
I had some crazy health conditions for a while.
I'm sorry about that.
So we said that when it came time to have children, we wanted to move somewhere clean and safe with no pollution. And so we moved to Ojai, this beautiful town.
Where's that?
Ojai.
It is. For all.
It's an hour. It's an hour.
Northwest.
Yeah, hour and a half from here.
And what I meant was, where is there a place?
Oh, right. Well, when we moved there, they started putting up fracking towers next to where we live. And
huge signs that say, contains carcinogens known to cause reproductive problems, harmful to children, harmful to people, and then also it says don't drink the water, and like really dangerous warning signs.
Yeah. And then they just published a big report in the United States that says the type of fracking that we're doing here, the new technology that we're using, is potentially harmful to women and pregnant women and babies.
And children.
And so we said, okay, we're filmmakers. We need to make a film to stop this from happening because we don't want people to get sick. We don't want people
And do
to
you
die.
think by making a film would be enough?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
What would it take?
But it starts the dialogue.
What would it take?
It would take, and we have a little presentation we can show you. It's very quick, 5
Yes.
minutes. But it would take
It will outline exactly what it would take.
a campaign. See, the thing about...
Do you have a proposal? Like, do you
Yes.
have it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you be able to send it to...
Well, it's on our, we can
We
give
can
it
also-
to you, and also, I mean, if
we can-
you have 10 minutes, we can go someplace.
Oh, thank you.
I'll show it to him right here.
What's this?
Here, give it to him now.
What's this?
That's the garnish as with a little bacon.
Yeah, I don't eat pork. Sorry. Yes.
And mixed meat.
Yes, this I
Let me double check. So is that the bacon?
Yeah, bacon I don't eat pork. Sorry.
Okay.
But thank you. Thank you.
So, by the way, here are our cards. This is mine. That's Rebecca's.
Thank you.
And also Stephen.
Excuse me. He doesn't eat bacon, so...
Can you get it without the bacon, without the
Can
pork?
we have it without the
It's actually
bacon?
Meyer lemon. No bacon.
Oh, the guy just said it was
Oh, he's...
bacon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the other
No,
one.
it's Meyer lemon.
Oh,
Actually,
good.
it's crystal. Yeah.
If it's bacon, you know what's gonna happen?
I'm going to lose my job.
No, I'm going to send my father, Muhammad Khalid Abdul Walid al Maktoum, and he's gonna come and he's gonna be very upset with me.
I don't want that to happen.
Okay, those are our cards, Stephen, just for you. Sorry to reach across
No,
you there.
that's fine. That's fine.
Just so you have those. Okay, look, we'll show this. It's 5 minutes long. This is very short. I don't think a film is nearly enough, okay? The issue that we face in the United States is that, you know, we understand that you are committed to a campaign against fracking. We're committed to the same thing. The issue that we face is...
Come on, seriously.
Yeah, please sit. People keep doing these kind of short actions. They're running sprints. But to end something this big in this country is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can't just do one thing and hope that the laws in Washington change. It's got to be very strategic all the way through. So that's what we've put together, is basically a strategy. How does that strategy work? Well, first of all, we have to look at the prior anti-fracking films. These were films that were made already in the United States, and they were against fracking. But they didn't work. They didn't stop fracking because they weren't clear. They weren't clear about what the problem was, and they weren't clear about what people could do about the problem.
They weren't clear about the solution.
And the second thing that they didn't do is they didn't really engage the social media space and the nonprofits. There's a tremendous world of people who interact and talk about these issues every day. They're on Twitter right now talking about fracking. They're on Facebook right now talking about fracking. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of people right now are speaking about this. These films didn't connect with that world. So in order to be effective, this has to be connected. Now the result, what happened after those films, unfortunately in the United States, fracking is skyrocketing. And the amount of oil and gas that's anticipated, this is by the U.S. Department of Energy, by the way, is staggering. It's a lot. So, you know, from our side, we have environmental concerns. You know, we understand that you guys have market concerns. Our commitment is the same, that this stops. Because for us, it's dangerous, very dangerous. So how do we do that? How do we stop fracking in the United States? What's the strategy? The first thing we have to do that no one has done is we have to give people a blueprint, a how-to guide. How do you stop fracking in your city? How do you stop it in your state? And how do we eventually stop it at a national level? Los Angeles just barred fracking. It just prohibited it. It just banned it. It's illegal now. Other states and other cities are looking at doing this. So how do we take that example and provide it to people in a song that they understand? How do we sing that to them in a language that they can hear?
And take action.
Yeah. Is this all making sense
Well,
so far?
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
When I look around the world, whether in Syria or in Egypt or in these countries, people are being killed every single day. People are being slaughtered every single day. I want to fix the problems in the world. But there are things I can do and things that I can't. The difference between me and some people is some people are dreamers, but they don't have a plan for their dream. And it's okay, but an idea will stay as an idea if no one is willing to suffer for it. So as much as we can talk about this, and I really, really, really appreciate your sentiment. The bottom line to me is that if the United States continues by doing this, it's going to lessen ourselves. And that's what it comes down to me. If you want me to bullshit you and to smile in front of your face and tell you I'm here because of a sentimental issue, I would be lying to you. It's not worth my time.
Yep.
However, we do have the same goal in common. And I'm willing to invest my energy, my time, and what I can to move forward where you can achieve what you're looking for in a way you understand. And I can hear the song that I like in a way I understand.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But yeah,
got it.
Exactly.
And I really hope that you can appreciate what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, can I reiterate it so you make sure that I understand what you said?
Please.
What I understand is that, while there are a lot of problems we could talk about fixing in the world, we're going to focus on something that we can actually do something about together. And for you, if this continues in the United States, this hurts all of us. It hurts you.
Yeah, here's the bottom line.
It hurts you. Yeah. Great. Totally got it.
And I hope you can appreciate the sentiment of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
Yeah.
You know what? We are aligned in that we are both committed to stopping fracking in the United States, and we believe that we can do that together.
Okay.
And here,
so we're all on the same page.
Yes. Yep. So finish. Do it quickly because these gentlemen have very little time.
All right. I'll run you through it. So we have to give people, in order to stop it, we have to tell people how to stop it. Okay? In the U.S., we stop this type of thing by passing laws. States are passing laws now.
Would you be interested in being in a movie that I would make?
We would be interested in making the movie, absolutely. I mean, are you
making a movie?
About anti-fracking
You're the producer, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the actress. And Mr. Ed. Yeah. And what do you do?
I'm the director.
Oh, nice.
Everyone's got to have a job.
Yeah, we're
I usually wear a T-shirt, just so you know.
We're all here.
But you have to keep in mind, in order for me to invest, like I'm looking to invest about 4.5 on this, and I just wanted to be sure of the people that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And this is the reason of my visit, and I really hope that I didn't waste your time, and I apologize about the delay.
It's okay.
Don't worry. Please forgive me.
We're all here.
We're here.
I'm glad. Thank you. I don't want you to think that I'm the type of person that will delay themselves. I'm nobody. I'm just like you.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the way I deal with everybody. So I apologize about the delay one more time.
We're all here
Took no control over that. So
we're all here because we want to
totally
make this project
Do you want to
happen.
have some of your soup before it gets cold? You're gonna.
I don't trust this guy. I think this fake it.
Do you want me to try it to make sure?
What about if it has poison? Before me.
Somebody else will have to direct the movie.
Always let the wife taste it first. That's why you have forks.
Well, I'm happy to try it. Do you want me to taste it to make sure? I'll do it.
You're sleeping on the couch today.
Yeah, no, get it. Here, let me see.
Thank you. please. We break bread together.
Does it have bacon?
Well,
It
this
tastes
is
like
not
bacon.
This red
That's Meyer's lemon.
is some kind of.
It's the lemon rind.
It's
Oh, yeah?
it's not
Is it
bacon.
soury kind of?
Yeah, it's not bacon.
Okay.
I'm not sure that it's good, but it's not bacon.
Okay, there's no pork in there.
But I don't know if there's bacon in the soup, but it's not in the bite that I had.
That's fine. Let's get
Yeah.
back to fracking.
Okay, good.
Let's get back to fracking. Or not
So-
fracking.
That's what he said, and look how I ended up.
Oh dear. This has to be engineered correctly. A film cannot stand on its own. It has to be part of a campaign. It has to be part of a social media campaign to engage people, to get them to actually act, to stop fracking.
But you do know that there's an eye on us. An eye on us.
What do you mean?
Yeah. People are watching you. The government's watching you. People are looking.
Motives. What are their motives? If I invest in this movie and I invest this money, and questions are asked, who invested into this? Who has the motive to make something like this happen?
Yeah.
Right.
I honestly, again, I like for things to work smooth.
Yeah.
And if things get too loud, I usually back off.
Yeah.
Because I don't need it. You don't need it. We just
Understood.
We are aligned on that.
we like things to run smooth. And I'm sure that you don't want to hear loud noises, and I don't either.
Just so you know, we have some very prominent people who are well-known anti-frackers in the United States who are who are committed to putting their name on this film, where nobody would ask questions about where the money was going.
I have somebody that I would put the name under, but the thing is that as quiet as possible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We agree.
I like you guys, I really do. I'm glad I met you.
Good. I'm glad you made it from that flight.
Alhamdulillah.
That was a long flight.
Alhamdulillah. I read a lot of Quran, I prayed a lot, and this usually helps me spiritually, because what I try to do is I try not to focus on the world. I try to focus on myself internally, on my responses towards things. I can't control everything that happens to the world, but I can control on the way I respond to it. I don't want to be upset anymore. I don't want my head to hurt anymore. I don't want to cry. I have a soft heart, but at the same time, you have a soft heart, you'll get sucked on. Unfortunately,
so true.
In a certain environment, and you try your best to balance in between. But at the same time, business needs to keep on moving. It needs to move forward.
Hence the 28-hour flight.
And
Not much we can do about that.
That's okay. So finish this, then we'll finish up with questions. So do you have any?
So this is really the 4 steps that we see. Create an award-winning documentary, anti-fracking documentary. Build and engage the fan base around that documentary, meaning release the documentary, get it into digital, get people talking, create a narrative film around the same subject, and then do a town hall tour where you literally go from town to town, teaching people this is how you ban fracking in your state and your city, using the films as a way to get attention for the issue. Does that make sense?
So making the film first,
Yes.
and then advertising around it.
Yes. Because what happens is when you make the film, people want to talk about the film. They want to do media around the film. They want to write about the film. They want to interview the filmmakers. They want to interview the people in the film. And they want to say, why did you make this film? Why is this an important film? That's the moment where you tell the message. And then layering it. It's not one film and one campaign. It's multiple steps. Because the ultimate goal is Washington, D.C. Changing the laws
Well,
of the
that's the
country.
thing. If Washington, D.C. continues fracking, America will be energy efficient, and then they won't need our oil anymore.
Well, and it's not good for us for other
I'm
reasons.
sorry to break it down.
While they're doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry?
And they will destroy the environment.
And they
while
will.
they're doing it.
It's the environment.
Yeah.
It's the environment.
Yeah. So that's not good for us, and it's not good for.
Our motivation is, or my motivation, my client is, where we want to I'm trying to help his bottom line.
Please, thank
you. Yeah.
You know,
it's fine. We
or
get
to
that.
get things done here, not to hurt his bottom.
Right.
You are more on the environmental side.
Yeah.
We
which
have
is
to,
fine.
We have to speak from a place where people will listen.
Right.
We have to talk the language that they'll hear.
Right.
And in this country, that's the language.
And it's what we already do.
Yeah.
So now,
We're known in the industry for doing this very thing, and we are known for.
And then Ed and I
Producing
have social media platforms that have many different levels of different kinds of people. So then we talk about it, and the friends that we know, and they talk about it. It's all that whole thing. You create a network where change happens because people are talking about it in the space. But you align that space. You create a marketing plan that makes it go viral very, very quickly.
I mean, Mariel has 500,000 followers on Twitter, for example.
And they each have followers.
Yeah,
so the multiplier starts very quickly.
Yeah. So,
So keep going.
So you do the social media.
We do everything.
Yeah.
I have to interrupt
throw in the
before you
movie,
get on.
please,
You've got
please.
my daughter is playing the guitar in front of a large group of people at a concert at USC. I have to go pick her up from school and take her to this concert, so I have to leave now. But I hope I meet you again.
I'd stay for 5 more minutes.
Sure.
Because I have to go too.
Okay, I'll stay for 5 minutes.
just before you have to leave, we just want to make sure that
You're good for this, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that you know where the money's coming from. Absolutely. But other than outside this table,
Right. Nobody knows.
nobody will know.
Yeah.
Very clear.
We're very committed to very
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's
Totally
very clear.
understand.
Because he's,
You're in with us on this side, right?
Oh yes, I've been supporting them with this documentary for a while.
No, did you hear what Steve just said?
I didn't hear.
Yeah,
I'm
with knowing where the money comes from,
Is only at this table.
this table, that doesn't go farther than this table.
No, absolutely. I would never say that.
Okay, because that's Muhammad's big concern.
Yeah.
With his,
Yeah.
and then so he wins, you win, environment wins.
Yeah.
Then everybody is happy.
Yes. That's it.
Wife are happy, husband are happy, everybody is happy.
Baby's happy.
Everybody singing
Clean
songs.
Make
water.
everybody happy.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. It's simple. It's simple. This is very simple.
It's really simple.
Yeah.
Make everybody happy.
Got it.
Find out who's upset, make them happy, and that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Hopefully it's not one of the wives.
Right.
Get through this, honey. Get through it. Get through it.
So, documentary is first. These are our connections into the world of social media, grassroots, theaters, universities.
You have religious organizations.
Religious organizations.
We've
Everyone.
worked with everyone on this list. We've distributed our movies in movie theaters. We've worked with all of these nonprofits. We have affiliates in all. I mean, I have.
When you say we, who's we?
Our organization.
Green
What's
Planet.
your organization?
Green Planet Productions.
Oh, your production company.
That's
Yep.
correct.
Right.
Yep.
Green Planet Productions.
Yep. 1,400 congregations across the United States. Millions, literally millions of people. Millions.
We have experience distributing films using these people.
I'm all done.
In addition to Ed and Mariel, we know other celebrities who are very against fracking, who would like to be involved in this. And, you know, the goal is to do a documentary, begin to get people talking, follow it with a narrative film, a Hollywood feature film, and then bring these people to the towns to talk about how we can end fracking in this country.
Empower people to get their states and their cities to ban fracking. Show people how to do it and get them to do it.
This is what a movie release looks like. You start a film festival, you do a media tour, it's social media, you do premieres in theaters, and all the way, of course, the dream is to get an Oscar award. But all of these pieces play into the conversation that we're having directly with the audience. And the audience grows and grows and grows. And you start with a couple of thousand people at the theaters, and then it grows to millions by the end. And that's the goal, 40 million people.
What's the timeline of this usually?
Timeline, let me just skip through these. These are our previous projects. Okay, timeline. This year we would film the documentary, begin work on the narrative film.
So the narrative film is the fiction film.
I was looking for January 15th.
January 15th to be complete.
It would be
It would
complete.
release in the beginning of 2015. So it would be available by January.
We would have 2 movies. So we would start production on a second movie.
The second movie would begin. So during the release time, during 2015, you're building, getting the nonprofits, getting the religious organizations, getting everybody involved, showing them the documentary. As you're showing them the documentary, you're filming. Agent? Manager?
Is he with us?
He's a fan.
Oh,
he's a fan.
A fan.
He's a fan of Ed's. Millions of people see Ed and Muriel on TV and in the movies. Right. So they can't go anywhere without people coming to them.
They work together?
They're not married. They're just...
I mean, they work together usually?
I don't think they've ever been in a show together before. This would be a first movie.
She was familiar with her.
Do you remember St. Elmo's Fire?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that was where...
so you can't go...
I like these. I'm serious.
Go ahead.
All right, you got 3 wives already.
Can they have multiple husbands?
I can be the secret American one.
Okay, there you go. That's between you. That's fine.
Are you proposing to me over here?
You're my wife.
2 husbands? Is that okay? 3 wives?
You know they do that in some countries. They do that in some countries. Yeah, a woman go propose for a man. Yeah. And she pays for the wedding.
I think they always do in all countries.
So this is our timeline. Our timeline, what we're heading toward is 2016. Why is 2016 an important year? Because every major political office in this country, somebody will be running for office everywhere across this country. So we're building to this.
2012, 2016, every 4 years.
Every 4 years. So we're building to...
4 years, but then...
We're building to a campaign that intersects with the election, where we can say to the elected officials, look, we have these movies, we have this information, this is not a good idea, we need to stop this now. And that forces the elected officials to either be with us or against us. And no one's going to want to be against us, because it'll be too big. It'll be too big.
They want to get reelected.
It'll be too big.
Okay, moving on to the next thing.
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Ed has to leave. You know, how about, well, we don't have any champagne. Let's toast.
Toast water.
Toast water.
And tea.
For all this.
Anti-fracking.
Tea. Anti-fracking.
There we go.
Eternally.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, here's the message from Josh Tickell.
Hey, Brandon, it's Josh and Rebecca Tickell giving you a ring. Didn't hear back from you on email, and I didn't get your email till after sort of close to 10 o'clock here. So we'd love to speak with you when you have a second. We're working with clients this afternoon, Friday afternoon. But if you do call, we'll step out, of course, to take your call. So we just might be a little pressed for time. But we have some great news that we want to share with you. And we just can't wait to connect. We're excited that you're back from your trip. And we look forward to hearing your voice. So give us a ring when you get a chance. My cell is 310-980-3003. And that's 310-980-3003. Or you can call in the office. We'll be down in the office. So the office phone is 310-452-0708, 310-452-0708. Both those numbers are on my email. Okay, look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks, Brandon.
He says he's got some good news. Let's find out what it is.
Yes, Josh.
How are you?
Hey, how are you? Nice to hear from you again.
Yeah, likewise. How was the trip?
Well, it's been crazy. It's been hectic. And of course, New York City is very cold right now. So I am not loving that, but everything's moving forward, and it sounds like everything's going well on your end too.
Yeah. So, do you have a second? Because I'd love to plug Rebecca in, and we could have a quick chat together, all three of us.
Sure, of course.
Okay, let me see if I can get her. Let me see if I can add her onto this call real quick. Okay, hang on for just a sec.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Just a sec. Don't go away here. Add her.
Oh. We lost him, but he'll probably call back. See if he calls back. See if he calls back. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Brandon. I'm sorry. I just got a new phone. I'm totally inept at this thing.
No, that is all right.
I think I have you both, but let me see. Rebecca, are you there?
I'm here.
Brandon?
Hey.
Oh,
Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Good, Rebecca. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
I'm great. I've got tons of energy, which is amazing considering I'm as large as a house.
Well, it's good. That's very good news.
Oh, no, wait. No, not Abu Dhabi. How was Dubai?
That's wonderful.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never been there, but I'd love to see it sometime. So we got your email. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry, it's a little loud. I've got you guys on speaker just so I can have my hands free, but I'm staying in Soho. It's a little loud outside when the bus goes by, but yeah, otherwise you guys are coming through nice and clear.
Okay, good.
Perfect. So we got Josh has been this obviously is primarily the one communicating with you, but I've been working actively in the background on this. And so we got your email request last Friday asking us if we could set meetings with our celebrity friends to show that they're, actually, to show that we're credible and that we have these relationships and that they would be interested in working with us on this project. And we got in touch with actually pretty much all of them. And the general feel from them was they would do anything for us and they would love to be involved in the project. But there was an uneasiness about meeting with you without us having, once the movie is closed, we had them on board and we set up interviews and that kind of thing, then it's a totally done deal. Mm-hmm. We would be happy to, have you meet them and stuff. But it's a little bit of an awkward request.
Sure.
So we came up with another solution, actually, that I think you're going to be thrilled with because not only does it
show that they, that we're very close with them, but it also shows that they really support us and they would definitely be on board with these projects. So we asked them if they wouldn't mind doing little iPhone selfies of themselves to us, saying, hey, Josh and Rebecca, I'm totally on board with you guys making an anti-fracking film. And that way, not only do you get to see that, but also you can send that to your client. And we cut together like a really, sort of cheesy short little video with all of their clips that we can email over to you.
Gotcha. So it's almost like, because basically, my only intention was, kind of, it is one thing I do know about the movie industry. It's, it's when you have somebody attached to a film, more or less. That's kind of what, that's kind of what, that's what that was my objective, just to show that, you're not just saying that. There are people that you can get to, whether it's to narrate the documentary or to be in the narrative. That would be, I guess, my only hope in having a phone conversation or face-to-face with them was just to show legitimacy on my end, but also, just to, kind of like I did with you guys, to make sure there's no qualms with where the funding is coming from. Is that something that you guys mentioned to your friends, or do you think that's something that we shouldn't?
We would never tell them where the funding is coming from. That would be really awkward for us. So, we have a reputation of being, people who follow up and complete what we start. So, nobody ever, we raise donations from nonprofit organizations and philanthropists for the last, 10 years. So I don't think anybody has any question about where the money is coming from, and it's not something that we would really want to bring to their attention.
Okay, so you think they might not do it if they knew where the money was coming from, or?
It would add something to the conversation that we would not normally add to the conversation. It would be very unusual. And because of that, it would be even more of a red flag. So it's almost like that's not usually part of the conversation. It's not usually discussed. Like, what's discussed is, okay, we're making this movie, and in the case of the doc, here's what we'd love you to be interviewed about. In the case of the narrative, it's here's the part we'd love you to play, and here's what we're looking at, budgetarily for that part. And that's the kind of conversation. If you bring that up kind of like out of the blue, it's kind of like, we're bringing this up because there's a problem. It's like focusing their attention right away. It's like saying, hey, there's a problem, and we want you to know about this problem, versus, our usual and the way it usually runs, unless that's going to be something that your clients want publicized, we would never include that in any communication beyond Rebecca, myself, you, Stephen. Not even our team. Not even, like, maybe one member of our team at most, who is sworn to death in secrecy and signed like insane NDAs and is under legal obligation to keep it a secret. Other than that, we just, we would proceed as normal. Because if it is brought up, it becomes something that we have to get defensive about. That's the way we would usually operate with something like that. And actually, also simultaneously to reaching out to our celebrity friends, we've also been looking at, well, if, people are ever questioning where our funding is coming from, what would, how could we sort of work this out so that the credibility of the film and the message of the film isn't questioned? So we've actually already reached out to 3 different entities that are more than happy to put their names on the film if we're the ones doing it. and they would be like the film's executive directors. And so to the outside world, anybody looking at it would automatically make the assumption that that's where the funding came from. And so one of those people, her name is Anna Getty. She's the heiress of the Getty oil family.
Okay.
And she'd be happy to attach her name to it. She's a known environmentalist and environmental activist.
Great.
I guess that's the same thing. The second group of people is it's the Coast Blue Foundation. They're major NGOs responsible for funding the anti-fracking moratorium in New York State. So they're very known in the fracking movement, and they would love to executive produce and put their names on the film.
Gotcha. Great.
And then the third entity, well, actually, they wouldn't necessarily be an executive producer, but we're very close with Environment California, and so they would play a major role in helping to get the film out there, and they're really excited about the prospect of us doing this film. So, to everyone in the world,
and we just had two other communications. I don't even think you were on these, Rebecca, but one was with MoveOn.org is doing a pretty big push right now, and we're in touch with their high sort of level team, and then the other one is Earth First. No, not Earth First. Which one was Stephen Nemeth working with?
Friends of the Earth.
Friends of the Earth, with their executive director. So essentially, however we did this, it would be essentially housed inside of a group of nonprofits and fairly high-profile people who are already in the movement and are already working along the movement. So, for all intents and purposes, anybody looking from the outside at this will see all of these people involved, attached, working with the movie, and will be like, oh, well, we can see where the funding came from. It came from all of these. They will make the assumption. We will not offer it. You know.
Yeah, and our job would be to protect the film's credibility and to put an incredible group of people who are already really excited about the prospect of us doing the project around it to make sure that it's really can make the difference that we all hope that it can make and believe that it can.
Right. Oh, sure, of course.
So the people that we got for to do the selfies in the past week that we've reached out to are we've got Muriel Hemingway. We've got Mark Ruffalo. We've got Laura Dern.
Ooh.
We've got Francis Fisher.
Wow.
Amy Smart and Ed Bentley Jr. So they're all in the video. Josh is going to send you the link right now. Mark Ruffalo even took it upon himself to write a letter to you on our behalf, saying that
he didn't know who you were. He was just like, people are making concerned.
Wow.
And then we're in touch with Woody Harrelson. He's really busy right now, and we're going to be seeing him in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we could get a selfie from him as well. But it would take a little bit more time because he's really funny. He doesn't like cell phones. He won't answer his cell phone. So whenever we communicate with him, it has to be through his team because he's afraid of the EMS.
Oh, wow.
Through his cell phone.
Yeah.
So when he talks with his cell phone, it's like from 3 feet away. So we're going to see him in a couple of weeks. And we can get one from him at that point. But we didn't want to hold up the process of getting you this video by waiting for him to contribute his. And the other person who's really funny, she's so funny, that we were in touch with is Michelle Rodriguez, who was like, yeah, I'm on board. Let's get
She promised. Yeah, she promised one, but she's with her new girlfriend in Thailand. So she just came out of the closet in a big way. But anyway, they're kind of like they're quote unquote off the grid right now. So
okay, sure.
And eventually Michelle's video will come in, but again, everyone else that's in the video just basically send it to us right away once we talk to them. And
you'll see they're like in their backyards and they're in their nightgowns and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you guys are sending that link right now. Then you said you already have all these.
Yeah, that's done. We'll send that over now, and we'll get that to you. And we don't want to
say, hey, look, we wouldn't like for you to participate in these meetings and for that to happen. But it's just, Hollywood's funny and people have a very strong sense of protocol. So it's one thing for us to meet with them as their friends and kind of go, hey, we'd love your commitment, and for them to make that commitment. But when third parties start to show up, people get nervous, and then they want to bring their agents and their managers, and it turns into a very sort of different style of conversation.
Oh, sure.
So, of which it would look bad for everybody if, for whatever reason, if we didn't proceed or if it went a different way. And so, you'll see in the videos, they're like, we'll do anything for you guys. We'll be in the movie. You just let us know. So I think the video is a good workaround to asking them to do something that they wouldn't feel 100% comfortable with.
Right. Okay. So you guys are saying that not only would it not be wise, because I know for me, that's why I brought it up to you guys. For me, it's my own conscience, really. I wanted to be honest where the money was coming from. We could have done it a different way where I said it was my money, but that's not what we wanted to do. So that was my only thing about trying to be open about it. But you guys are saying if third parties get involved, it gets messy. But not only that, you guys yourselves personally aren't going to tell these folks where the money's coming from.
Yeah, we'll never disclose it. And here's the thing. We have been asked so many times with our films, where did the money come from? Where did your funding come from? Sorry, I just climbed up the stairs and out of breath. So,
wait a minute. You're not the pregnant one, are you?
No, it's pathetic. It's so pathetic. It's unbelievable. When you come visit, you'll see we have this really steep rise of stairs.
Oh, okay.
From the office of the house. But, we just say, look, our money comes from people who really care about this issue.
Right.
They donate, they believe in us, they support us, and they back us. And then what we always do is we always list all the foundations we work with in the thank yous of the credits. And basically what that does is it's like people just look at the credits or they look at the website or they look at the nonprofits involved and they go, okay, this is who put money on.
Right.
We understand. Anna Getty, for instance, she just inherited all of the Getty money, or she inherited her portion of the Getty money. To avoid paying taxes, she, for a period of time, renounced her U.S. citizenship. So everybody is fully aware that she just came into a lot of money, and it's old oil money. So I think in people's minds, they would just assume that she was redeeming her family's money by putting it into an anti-fracking fund.
Mm.
And she is going to donate a very small, she's going to donate something to our cause, but it'll be more like a token kind of, So it's. And if anybody asks us if she put, money toward what we're working on, we could say, yeah, she did. But here's the thing, and I think it really did, certainly looking back at the mediascape of how did the blogosphere, how did the Twitter sphere, how did the sort of digital world respond to Promised Land? I think it really hurt the movie to have one of the production companies be based in Abu Dhabi, and for that to be so public and so upfront.
Oh, sure, right. Like we discussed, it was right at the front of the movie, right?
Yeah. When I saw that the first time, when I very first saw the movie, I was like, they're going to get slammed. I can't believe they did that,
Sure, right. Oh, yeah, that was...
The bottom line is we're all philosophically aligned. We don't want fracking in the United States. So as far as we're concerned, our integrity is intact in going about this because it's completely 100% in alignment with our cause and our mission.
Right, of course, yeah. No, of course, that makes sense. Okay, well, I guess all I can really do is if you guys send me that link, and if everybody's convincing enough, like you're saying, I can circle it back to Steven and the team, and they can take a look, and they can kind of decide for themselves. I've obviously made the case that I think you guys would be great for it, and it was never our intention to have not even have a Beacon International present, not even that. It's like you were saying in the credits, special thanks if we do that, it was nothing that we wanted to make prominent, but I was thinking if you guys get a major celebrity, whoever it is, just from my standpoint, to be honest about where it's coming from. But if you guys think that wouldn't be an issue, or if you think it would be an issue and we should not do it, then I do trust your judgment.
Cool. Yeah. I think it was a film at the end of the day. Oh, and then one other thing that we wanted to bring up is, our hope. We've really been discussing it and thinking about it and figuring out how we can arrange our lives to make this work, because we're really committed to it. And what we have come up with that we would like to sort of just re-propose to you is the idea of making the doc and the narrative. And in our ideal world, we would start making the documentary right away because it's such a hot issue.
Right.
And
I've been getting Josh's emails. Yeah, sorry.
Make that documentary. Or why don't you explain to him what the schedule would be that could be in our opinion ideal?
Right.
So you saw that one email that I sent over there with the pictures and everything. It's definitely so interesting. Since we met with you, this has become such a hot issue, down the street from where we are.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, 4 months ago, there were no fracking towers here. None. Not one.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's 3. Less than 10 minutes drive. Less than 10 minutes from our house. So, that's our water supply, by the way.
Right, of course. Yeah, but you're saying time is of the essence, really, on the documentary front.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, well, and Mark, it's funny, in his letter, he wrote some of the same things that we've been saying just by looking at this market. And I'll send the letter over with the videos and what have you. But I do think that we have an opportunity because all we did is after we met with you, when you first called, we were like, hey, we have a great opportunity. These people sound really like they could be great partners in this project. So that's, we did a bit of a deep dive. We put that presentation for you together, and then we sat with you. And then after that, we were kind of like, so let's take a look and see, who would really partner up with this thing. And we probably spent a few mornings making calls to our contacts and just seeing where they're at. And the response that came back was how soon can you get us the film? How soon can you get us the film? Can we get it out to our members? And we're talking about Sierra Club and are these big guys who we usually, a couple of days to get back and forth. They were on the other line going, okay, when's it coming out? That was the only question they had. And we were like, whoa, what's going on? And then these fracking towers started to show up right here. And so, just since you very first called to now, our perception of this issue has definitely changed based on the information that we've gathered and the people that we've spoken to as not a, issue that needs to be addressed someday, but for them, they see it as a very, very pressing now kind of issue. And the conversation with Friends of the Earth was very telling. They've had a Keystone campaign, an anti-Keystone campaign, and a bee campaign about the bees going extinct. They've had those 2 campaigns running for the better part of a year. They're about to shift a substantial portion of their resources into an anti-fracking campaign. They're the largest single membership-driven environmental organization in America. Sierra Club is the largest overall, but they consider that they're chapter-based. So those 2 alone are just putting
balls to the wall. So, what we started thinking about even more after we met you was just like, okay, so we basically pitched three options: a doc, a narrative, and a doc and a narrative. But we were like, we had a definite opportunity just based on, preliminary phone calls, preliminary meetings, preliminary discussions, that if we could fast track a doc, that thing would be lighting the fire while we were developing the narrative. And by the time the narrative hit, we would have already galvanized a whole new wave of support that we could then couple with that thing, like you said, during the election year. So, I think you guys and your clients and everyone is going to obviously play this the way you see best, play. But from where we're standing, the information that we've gathered, we were just like, wow, this could be a very powerful 1-2 punch if it's all orchestrated and connected under the same kind of groups, because these groups want to do it. It's not like we have to convince them. It's like they're so ready that if we said, hey guys, we want to have high-level meetings with you, and we want you to be part of this, and we want you to be helping guide this, they will bring just a tremendous amount of weight to this. So we see it as our definite preference and our definite opportunity would be we fast-track a doc, we start immediately with the objective of finishing no later than by January of next year. We would premiere at either Sundance, Tribeca, or South by Southwest, one of the early festivals. The latest one is basically early spring. So those are the three big ones that come up. Santa Barbara is also another opportunity. Those four, we would premiere at a festival early next year, and we would run that doc hard and fast in terms of getting it out to all these affiliate groups. And then while we're doing that, we're finishing the narrative, doing the script, getting that done, shooting that, posting that, and then that becomes the real sort of the nail in the coffin as we swing into the election year of 2016 with our major celebrities behind us, going out to Washington, D.C., going out to the capitals and talking in the state houses and just basically shutting the thing down. So that's, we definitely pitched with that idea in mind, but now having gone out to our community and sort of being like, okay, what's the temperature like? We're like, man, we could just move on this thing and it could just be big. So that's where we're coming from.
Like, really take the time this year to create the best possible script for this film, hiring the best writer possible, as an Academy Award-winning writer, having the best possible story. So this really is the Aaron Brockovich movie for anti-fracking, that we would be in production on that narrative in the beginning of the year, or the end of this year, once the documentary is completed and getting on its rails for marketing. So it would be a good trajectory for both of those things. And that way, we really thought about what you said about, wanting to be armed and ready with these tools for the 2016 presidential campaign. And this would allow us to get the doc out first, have that going, build the movement, build the army, collect all of the names, get all of the nonprofits on board the doc, and then have all of that built-in support at the end of 2015 when the narrative film is ready to be launched.
Wow. Okay. Well, is that I do have to run for a 7 p.m. call, but is that going to affect the documents you guys gave me at all? I mean, is that going to do you guys want to amend those and send that along with the link, and then I'll send that to everybody, and then we'll try to get hopefully if everything goes right, they'll look at it this weekend and we can potentially start moving on it again on Monday.
That would be awesome. We'll do a summary. It's just going to be a written summary of just what we just told you.
Sure.
And put that in the email, and that way you can forward that around, and you guys can munch on it. But we're ready, and we're pumped. We're stoked. It's personal now. It's gotten really things. I mean, I don't believe in accidents. I believe that things happen for a reason. And definitely getting your call and then seeing these towers go up has been like, okay, this is what we're meant to do next. I get it.
Right. Oh yeah. Of course. Well, good. On my end, we'll see what we can do. If these guys can look at these videos and understand that these people are committed and they're behind you, I think it gives it all more credence. So that's all we can do. Just send me that summary there of how your plans have changed a little bit, because you guys have sensed the urgency, and then the link with the the celebrities, and whoever else you guys think should be in there, and yeah, I'll pass it along this weekend, and then we'll see what they say. We'll circle back next week.
Perfect. Okay, well, we'll let you go. We know you have a call. I just wanted to give you the caveat that because we just threw that video together, so it's not like done professionally by our editors. It's not a reflection of our film work.
Oh, sure. No, yeah, I wouldn't worry about.
It's not our iPhone,
Right. No, I wouldn't worry about that. The fuel speaks for itself. This is obviously just a, people people saying whatever capacity they can that they're committed. So.
Okay, cool, Brandon. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch up again next week.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. Josh and Rebecca Tickell. How are you?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Good. How's the East Coast?
Getting warmer. Slightly getting warmer.
Excellent.
It's a rough winter, huh?
Yeah. It's I don't think anybody knew what the heck a polar vortex was before all of this, but it's.
I still don't know what a polar vortex is, but they could have typically been living in like a summer climate here all winter.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Don't bother finding out how a polar vortex feels.
I'm gonna have to take that note down. I'm gonna look that up. Polar vortex. Clearly, I'm on the list.
Yeah.
Polar vortex.
So sorry I missed your guys' call Friday. It's been a pretty busy weekend, but I know you guys got my email, so I just want to find out what you guys are thinking. What do you think is possible? Because it seems on our end like everything is a go. I've basically been given the authority for to get 4.5 million, and I'm not sure if that amount sounds good to you guys. I think from all our conversations, it sounds like enough. But there are just my clients, they want to be sure on their end that we're making the right choice. So I mentioned those few things. I know Ruffalo wrote a letter, so he's clearly sounds like the most motivated. So what are your guys' your thoughts?
Well, we're super excited, first of all. That's, right off the bat, we're very excited to see that things are moving forward. And then we have some thoughts that we want to go over with you, just to kind of strategize with you, because we get that, you and your clients, you're both committed to making the best film possible, and everybody's committed to a success. Nobody wants to waste money, and that, we're committed to that same thing too. So the question is, how do we get from where we are to that end goal? And then we just wanted to strategize with you specifically on some of the requests that you put forth in your email, and also give you a sense of what's going on our side in terms of feedback that we're getting from just from sort of the network of conversations that we've got into around the fracking issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the main things that I think is one of the main reasons why you guys want to work with us. I'm just stepping stepping out on a limb here is because I think you see that we're obviously clearly very passionate about this issue. And also, we've done films similar to this in the past and, had an impact. And one of the things that's really important to us is protecting the credibility of the film and how critical that is. And so we were forwarded an email from Stephen Nemeth, who was one of the executive producers on Fuel, and has worked with us on our last film, and he's on the board of the Sundance Institute, and he's our connection to MoveOn.org, and he's very tied in Hollywood. His film was nominated for an Academy Award, I guess, a year and a half ago. He was one of the producers on the session of what was the Johnny Depp movie, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So he's a pretty renowned guy here in Hollywood. He's connected to a lot of people. And he's one of the people that we would really love to have, we discussed having on board as a potential collaborator on this film, because, again, putting people in place that will give this film credibility is important so that people don't question the money, because if people think that this is a film that's funded by, Middle Eastern oil, it will not have that credibility. That it'll be
a non-starter.
Yeah. So he sent us an email forwarded from Josh Fox, and it was the same email that you guys had initially sent us. And then it had Josh Fox comments on there, which basically was like, that this is really sketchy, and hopefully this project that you're working on isn't some of those same people.
Well, this is what he says. He goes,
Stephen said, asked him if it was the same project.
Yeah, Stephen goes, are these the people who are, what does Stephen say? Whatever. I don't know. Stephen basically asks, is this the same group? And Josh says, I bet it was this. Looked super sketch to me. He didn't even want to meet with them after checking out the website stuff. Not going to take anonymous money, no way. Also, I've already made 2 fracking films, So that's the conversation that's going around and that was that's from Stephen's original email that Stephen sent. Josh Fox then forwarded Stephen's email.
When I heard that he was going to be working up with that on an anti-fracking.
Right, actually, Stephen Nemeth. Stephen Nemeth mentioned to Josh Fox, Josh and Rebecca are looking at doing an anti-fracking film. And Josh Fox sent Stephen the email going, look, if this is where the money was coming from my film, I wouldn't have taken it. So the conversation in this, and this is I know you've met with a bunch of these people and reached out to a bunch of them, but the anti-fracking community, just like the heads of Sierra Club, NRDC, MoveOn.org, Environment California, it's a small community.
And the celebrities that are on board for this talk.
Yeah, it's a small community. I was on a call with Dan Jacobson, who runs Environment California, when we did the Prop 87 initiative. And I was one of 10 people on that call. And that was all the major players. NRDC, Sierra Club, Greenpeace, MoveOn, and Environment California, Environment America, and Friends of the Earth. That was it. It was 10 people. So, we're hyper-aware and hypersensitive that, the coalitions are tight-knit. They are cellular in that they can work independently, but around this issue specifically, around fracking, everyone's like at the same level. So the communication is pretty clear between those organizations. So we are, one of our concerns inside of your requests to kind of have these third-party conversations is that we're stuck between 2 different trajectories, 2 different desires. One desire comes from your and your client's commitment to make the best film possible, to have assurance that that will happen. The other desire, which we know just from getting this email randomly, we didn't ask Stephen, hey, go find out what else is going on. We just started talking about making the anti-fracking movie and about what that would look like. And bang, this email comes back. So the second, concern that's in conflict with the first concern is if we don't protect the who is kind of funding this thing, if we don't put a wall, so that the actors, celebrities, and organizations that are involved aren't aware of where the money is coming from, if they do become aware of where the money is coming from, if we have to disclose that, or if that becomes a necessary part of it, the whole enterprise will not work. We can tell it from day one. Our function in this, we see as part of our function, is protecting both sides. Protecting the money and protecting the project.
Mm-hmm.
And, aside from one other person, Rebecca and I are the only two people that are aware of these conversations to any extent whatsoever. So, we're confident that we can keep this zip-locked, tight, airtight forever.
Which is why we've gotten Armageddon on board and people like that who will...
And we've been down this road before.
Yeah.
This is not the first major project that we've had funded through a funding source, which, for various reasons, would have been very unwise for everybody to understand the dynamics of that funding. So we know how tricky it is.
And we are okay with that because our hearts are in the right place. Our goal is to we're filmmakers, and we're also, very aware that in order to make films, somebody's got to pay for them. And we're very clear that as great as these nonprofit organizations are, they don't pay for films usually. So we're aware of the reality of, money to us doesn't have a specific, kind of moral vibration. It's money. So in that essence, we have no moral issue. But we know that a lot of people that would be necessary to pull this off, i.e. the Mark Ruffalo's and the Stephen Nemeth and everyone in between, they would have issue. So that's our main roadblock that we see. And that's what we wanted to open it up to you to have a conversation with. We want to strategize. I mean, obviously, we feel like we can do this. We just need to come up with a good strategy that will work for everybody without compromising the film, which is why we went out and made that video.
Right.
Because we felt like it accomplished the goal of, people, we had some of Hollywood's A-list actors in there saying, they would be in the film and that they would support us and because they believe in Josh and I and our work and, they have faith in our mission. So,
and the second stumbling block, even with all that goodwill and good faith, so we've got to, we have to strategize sort of money disclosure, having you and or even involved, your names, your website, anyone who looks that stuff up, unless they're just a total, not very intelligent person, and most of these people are reasonably intelligent, or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Unless you're not intelligent, you're going to see where the money's coming from. So that's the first stumbling block. The second stumbling block is, somebody of Mark Ruffalo's caliber, he's not going to commit sight unseen to narrate and or be in anything that he doesn't see a script for. He's not going to commit to be in a movie that has no script. He's not going to commit to narrate a movie that he can't see first. Because, let's face it, these guys' careers are built for taken away from the quality of the project. And this is a very personal issue. So,
and not that he won't be in the films or that he wouldn't be in the films, but in his letter, I don't know if you read his letter, but at the end of his letter, he said, given the people who are on board, I'm sure that I will. I actually deleted it exactly, but he also says, that he can't commit to being in it until he sees the final product, i.e., the doc and the narrative.
Yeah, traditionally a narrator, traditionally a big name narrator like that, if that's a requirement, they come on when the movie's done, they watch the movie, based on the movie they'll agree to narrate or not. And then it's a pretty big deal. It's 7 days of their time to narrate the film. So that's one thing. Being in the film, an actor will not, no, I don't know any actor that will sign, I mean, maybe if it's Martin Scorsese or something like that, people will sign unseen with the script unseen, but generally the process is, if there's a friendly conversation with the actor and the producers or directors, and an offer is set forward to that actor's manager or agent, and that offer has script, starting off a number, and if the manager or agent accepts the offer, then you put a down payment on that actor, and you work out dates.
But they definitely wouldn't sign on board if they suspected that the money was coming from Middle Eastern oil money.
Well, that's the first thing. The second point is, there's the development process, which involves creating a script, and then once the script is created, then you do your hit list of 20, 30 top A-list actors. You go after all of them at the same moment. And you negotiate and you get the best actor for the best rate, for the best actors for the best rate possible. You're willing to put in the most days, with the least amount of fanfare. And that process, we just couldn't call Mark today and say, hey, Mark, will you be in this movie? He's going to say,
let me see the script.
Why are you,
He's like, I've already told you I will. It's good.
Virtual Larry gave you a video,
I think we've gotten as much from the celebrities at this point as we can get at this stage. It's what I think we're trying to communicate.
And we're open to strength. But those are the three things we wanted to express. We wanted to express that there's a conversation in the space that people are talking. There's knowledge that this money is out there, that it's being offered. It's pretty clear where the money's coming from. So there's already a red flag that we have to do a little bit of
crisis management.
Yeah, there's a little bit of management around that. The second issue is, there's got to be some kind of wall, because if that is disclosed to everybody, they're not going to participate. Yeah. And then the third thing is, we generally organically integrate people into a doc as we're doing it. We film them, we interview them, they become part of the film, they love the film, and they sign as the executive producer. That's a process. And then, those commitments happen via the process. Same with the narrative, build a script, you take it out to them, you get their commitment. That's a process too. So, sort of through that process more, to try and reverse it. It's gonna say to those people that we're not professional and that we don't know how the industry works and that we're kind of amateurish. So those are the three challenges that we see, and we know that inside of a commitment to do a great thing, any challenge can be overcome. So with that, we're really open to your thoughts and suggestions.
Yeah, and we're coming up with a strategy that can meet everybody's needs so that you guys feel comfortable and it doesn't compromise.
Right. Okay. So I'll just kind of circle back to make sure that I know everything that I gotta say to the right people. Okay. So first of all, you guys are saying that there is a dialogue within the community, because our outreach efforts were pretty broad, and I can tell you from my standpoint, I'm pretty upset with Steven about such a shady sounding email. That was not my doing on my part. But you guys are saying that there's a dialogue within the community, and this could potentially hinder the efforts. But you guys are saying you're still okay with potentially going forward, as long as we can kind of nip that in the bud, right?
We can make this work. We can protect the film so long as we take the right steps moving forward.
Right. Okay. Because I certainly understand. It's just one of like we talked about in LA. It's just one of those things. My client's interest is to end American energy independence. Your interest is to end fracking. Fracking is the one thing to beat to make both of those things happen. And you guys understand that.
Correct. Yeah, super clear.
And then
that won't change our efforts. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot here, but that won't change our efforts to promote alternative energy, because that's also part of what makes us credible in this space.
absolutely, and that's the thing. Once you guys, have the funding, as long as you deliver on the impactful anti-fracking movie, then you guys are obviously free to continue to do whatever you want with whatever success you reap out of that.
Yeah. That wouldn't be the focus of this film. That's been our work in the past. So that obviously the focus of the film would be one goal entirely, which is to end fracking.
Right. And then secondly, what I think I'm understanding is because again, my clients were pushing just to have some guarantee, and in the same way they sent me to you and to these people, I am their form of the guarantee. When somebody looks me in the eye and says something that they understand what this is and so forth, that's how my clients know that it's a sure thing. And so what you're saying is, and I completely understand too, because I feel like I do have a knowledge of how the movie industry works, whereas my clients and Stephen may not. It's it's not exactly, like you guys were saying, not exactly appropriate to have a third party talk to your actors. But B, it's also a much more complicated process to get Mark's or whoever assurance that they will participate in the movie without having an agent or having money down the table and lawyers and things like that. I think they were just hoping, even if informally, just a phone call with me to even just repeat what he said in his letter and to repeat what he said in his video, But you guys are saying that is most certainly not possible then?
Well, I think they would want to know who you are.
Right.
And that would then start raising the red flags that we don't want to have raised. But, we do have, we have one idea that could be a good compromise.
Okay.
So, because we want to obviously we want everyone to win here, so we understand the concern. And so here's what we were thinking, and this may or may not be the best solution, but we were looking at the ranking on IMDb of our celebs. So, it's about, like, Mark Ruffalo, he's like somewhere between 500 and 600 ranking on IMDb. Laura Dern, Amy Smart, she's like 600 something. Are you familiar with the IMDb ranking on IMDb?
Ish. Not too much, but yeah.
There's something on IMDb Pro, it's just, I don't know, whatever, $20 a month or something. There's something where it's called the star meter. And it's the only thing really in the industry like this, but basically it ranks celebrities based on current popularity in the industry. And the star meter, the kind of the quote-unquote objective is to get a star meter rating of like 1, because that would make you the most popular person in the universe.
Right. Most A-list actors are somewhere in the top 1,000.
Yeah, but like
it alternates depending on what project they're working on.
Exactly. If Michelle Rodriguez, if Fast and Furious comes out and Michelle Rodriguez, shows her boobs,
she goes from like 900 or 1,100 up to like 200.
Right. She'll go up to like 200 or 150, depending on who else is showing her boobs in the theater. Excuse my crap. You know what I'm saying? Like.
That's fine. No, now I'm just imagining an anti-fracking movie with boobs.
Hey, you know what?
It's not out of the question.
Michelle showed her boobs for us once before. We did a photo shoot with her where we covered her in oil.
Wow.
I can send you the picture. You'd probably really appreciate it.
She's basically naked. It's an impressive. It was an impressive day.
Great. Yeah, I'll send that along to my clients, and the money will be in the bank tomorrow.
Sure it is.
It's well, she was is really, anyways, the point is the star meter is a dynamic system of rating popularity based on, past projects and based on what is a star doing right now. Mark has a star meter rating of 479 right now. Michelle has a star rating of 259 right now. Amy Smart has 558 today. Woody Harrelson has 130. So, we're not opposed to creating a contractual assurance such that these clients have a contractual assurance that they're going to have at least one A-list celebrity in the film, our films, or however we're going to do this. So the one way we thought about doing it is if we said, look, their minimum star rating has to be, for instance, 700 or above. That's going to mean that they're going to get an A-list celebrity. So, that's just kind of like one way in between that, may be something to look at.
And that way it gives us the flexibility to not pressure our... I'm going to step it over. I'm going to but that way we're not pressuring them and adding something awkward into the space that will, make them feel uncomfortable. And it also gives us the flexibility to do what we do best, which is, not just wrangle one celebrity, but, really get our coalition of star power behind the film, which is completely our intention.
Mm. Okay, so, but an over the phone or in-person meeting with any of these folks between me or whoever on our side is out of the question, though. Is that what I should report back?
We don't want to be so hard and fast about it, like it couldn't happen. But here are the challenges that we're going to have as we do it. The first challenge is, who are you? Right. They're going to write your name, and their assistant or their manager is going to be sitting, there. They're going to write your name down, and the reason they're going to write your name down is because they're going to want to know who the hell you are, and then they're going to go online, they're going to figure that out. So that's the first challenge. Same with Stephen, and same with your clients. So the second challenge is they're going to be like, you want us to commit to something without seeing it. That puts them in an awkward position.
I mean, they already said in the video, several of them said, I'll be in it, whatever you need. And I don't think that we're going to get them to say anything more than that.
Yeah.
In person.
Yeah. For a doc, they'll do the interview. It's an hour of their time.
Mm-hmm.
For the feature, it's a conversation about, the script has to go through the agent has to give them the script, the offer has to come through. Otherwise, it puts everybody kind of in an awkward position. The best they're going to say is, what assurances can you give us that this is a definite thing? And we can't really with the contract. So, and I think that's not that a phone call couldn't happen. It's that I think it might be a disservice to the project based on kind of the protocols that we would be trying to bend, Yeah.
And I think the other thing, too, is, those types of conversations usually happen once we have an agreement in place. And even then, it's still got to be we have to be very delicate with these personal relationships. We don't want to, there's always kind of an element of, it's friendship versus, friendship and activism versus more of a traditional Hollywood route. Now, with the narrative feature, once we have a script, then absolutely we'll be taking the Hollywood route. But the timing of this is a little bit off.
Right.
That conversation is something that comes down the road, not before we have funding for the project.
Right.
But if the assurance, we'll have an A-list celebrity in the doc, we'll have an A-list celebrity in the narrative, and we put that into our agreement, I feel like that should, at least assuage the concern that we're going to honor our end of the deal in terms of providing that.
Right. All right. Well, I do have to jump to another call. So, all right. So I'll just recap. Obviously, the two big things here are that sure, and I understand an in-person or over-the-phone meeting involving us from our side of it would be awkward. It would also go against the Hollywood norm, especially for the narrative feature. So I'm gonna circle back right to the clients, right to Steven, and say that is not happening, and that's okay, right?
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we sent the video.
Sure.
One thing you'll find about us. One thing you'll find out about us, and if it's not, kind of coming through, is like we're very collaborative. We'll be like, we're on the phone with you even when you're not there.
Right.
We're very much the type of people. We don't go off into a black hole and disappear. And we're very upfront about where we are physically. Where our studio is physically, what we're doing physically, and there's a level of transparency that we pride ourselves in with our clients, and whether you're our client or your clients are our clients or you're all our clients, it doesn't matter to us. So this isn't going to be the type of thing where you're like, what's going on with the Green Planet? You'll know.
Mm-hmm.
So that that's more just a personal thing, but
And I know you have to go, but we would love to continue this conversation actually with you a little bit further because, one of the things also we wanted to discuss is, we'd love to get more information from you in terms of how much and what you're thinking because obviously in our minds, we'd love to go through our ideal schedule with you and making the doc starting ASAP, premiering it at Sundance in January while developing the script this year and then starting filming on the narrative picture in January to launch that at the end of 2015. So obviously there's budget stuff to talk about and the timeline to talk about and what you guys are thinking and what we're thinking.
And expectations. We'd love to know a little bit more about, what the clients see as do's and don'ts. We don't want to start to create, start to reach out to people in earnest and say, okay, this is really happening, this is going to go forward, based on, not really being super clear about, we had a client that said, we don't want to put one solar panel in this whole movie. And we were like, okay, but you're doing a movie for the environmental movement, and maybe you don't make solar panels, but the environmental movement makes solar panels. So just stuff like that is very important in the beginning to get straight. And I noticed in your email, you were talking about a celebrity narrator, and it's just, none of that's a problem. It's just helpful to know,
we just want to make sure there's no
what are the parameters?
What no strange caveats in the agreement. So we've been really upfront with providing you with a lot of information, and we'd love to sort of get some information from you in terms of what we're looking at in terms of this agreement and how much we're talking about. So 4.5, it's good to know what you guys are thinking. So would that be for both films? Would that include the marketing budget?
No, that would. That was the thing is that I wasn't. We're basically close to having those conversations that you guys are just mentioning. But now I gotta circle back and just let everybody know, not only the celebrity thing, but also that that people within the movement are talking. Obviously you guys are okay with the situation, like you've said. And you're still okay. You're still okay with it, right?
Yeah, we're still okay. Our brand and our team, our extended family, are both strong enough to manage that, and we have enough donors in our database so that no one is shocked at all when we're doing an anti-fracking project. There's no shock.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody brings it up, we will have the sort of ease of management in place.
Yeah, we'll put the people on the list of executives that will completely diminish from anybody's mind any questions of this film, and also because it impacts us personally. I mean, we've now sent photos of us, me 9 months pregnant, standing in front of these fracking wells here in Ojai. The people get that this is a very serious issue for us. Mm-hmm. Nobody will bat an eye. Which is why those celebrities so quickly turned around those videos saying, yeah, you tell us how to help, because they know that this is an important issue for us and that it really hits home.
Sure, right.
So,
and then just real quick, if we could, about the political network, because like we were saying, A, you make a good film, but B, it's got to have the impact. You know, it's almost like, well, yeah, you know, a lot of movies do it that way. You spend, you know, $1 to $2 million on the making of the film, and then you spend the other $3 million on promotion and getting it out there. So within your political network, I know we mentioned MoveOn.org. Were there any people from those standpoints who'd be willing to meet with us or talk to me or whoever on the phone? Or are you saying that we should also leave those folks out of our conversations as well?
The first question they're going to want to know is, who are you? And then the second thing they're going to do is go to your website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to compromise. I mean, it's a catch-22 because, you know, we really want to provide you with all of your requests.
Yeah.
You know, like we're like yeses over here, you know, and the reason that we're being very cautious about this is because, I mean, for instance, Stephen Nemeth, who forwarded us Josh Fox's email, he's like one of the main connections to MoveOn.org. He's the one that we would, you know, have be the...
Sits on the board of Friends of the Earth. He sits on the board of NRDC. Sits on the board, he's, you know, part of the brainstorming committee that makes up what MoveOn.org is going to do.
He's the last person that they want looking at your website.
Yeah, and he's so smart. And he comes from you know, old Hollywood money, and they know what's up.
And you know, we can pick up the phone right now and get Dan Jacobson on the phone, but he's one of the smartest people we know, and he is very sensitive about funding. Like, we've done some work for him where we shot videos for him where, you know, he's just, they have so many rules and regulations, these NGOs, because they're 501c3s.
Because they're under scrutiny. People want to know why are they motivated.
And who's funding them. And
the last thing they want to do is get tagged for being the mouthpiece for some
Middle Eastern oil-funded film. That would be disastrous for them.
Yeah. You got to be careful.
What did these folks, and this is because I got to get going here at 3:40, but what did these folks think about Promised Land? Is the same reaction? Were they just like, oh, well, it's funded by Dubai? Is that kind of...
It's definitely mixed. Part of the reason why that film didn't get kind of backing that it could have from the nonprofit world is people had mixed feelings.
Mm.
You know, they wanted to get behind it, they wanted to promote it, they wanted people to see it, and it's got a big logo splash in front going like, look, here's where the money came from. And they most of these organizations, just even if they want to do something, if they think that they're going to get compromised in the process, you know.
Sure.
They're going to put it on the website. They're not going to send it out via their blog. You know, they can have individuals in the organization promote it, but it completely restricts their ability to visibly support the film if they have that kind of, you know, if the film is funded by, you know, sources that are compromised.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's okay. I mean, that's just very interesting. You know, it's from my standpoint, it's like, well, everybody's interests are aligned and the funding is there, but it is interesting that folks, I don't know, they don't see it that way.
Not only do they not see it that way, but they would have a pretty strong. The reaction across the board would be instantaneous and strong, because they've been. You know, these organizations are accused all the time of taking money that has an agenda and pushing that agenda versus doing what their members want. You know, Friends of the Earth, MoveOn.org, Sierra Club, they're member driven. So when the members think that the guys in Washington or wherever the head office is are on the tape, they flip out.
Yeah, they had to fire the last guy in charge of Sierra Club.
Paul ran the Sierra Club for the better part of 2 decades. And because he made a deal with the natural gas industry and took a fairly hefty sum of $20 million or $30 million,
he had to give it all back, and then he had to resign, and it was a huge controversy.
Massive problem.
Wow.
They're just exists around taking money, any money, or being associated with something that's driven from money that comes from the industries in any way, shape, or form, that because their membership organization, that their members have declared they're against.
So we're trying to gently point back to you that your request has a mixed message, because we know you want us to make a film that's going to succeed and end fracking in the United States, and yet the message from which you want us to go about closing this deal could compromise our ability to do that.
Right. Okay.
And we know it's not you. We know that these are natural requests that somebody would have if they weren't on the ground in the trench.
We're just between a rock and a hard place, and and we're leveraging our personal relationship, which is why we went out there and make us our friends to make those videos. In fact, we're going to meet with Woody in a couple of weeks, and we're going to get him on board. Like, we're going to keep working for this until you tell us either go or go away.
Right. Okay. Well, and yeah, like you said, it's rock in a hard place. It's for me too, So
we know you're saying this. We understand.
So all right. Well, I will circle back regarding the celebrities, regarding the political organizations, and also thank you for letting us know about Josh Fox contacting what was his name, Stephen Memmett. Mempeo. Memphis, kind of like Memphis, but Memphis.
Yeah, he's in our pitch materials. We list executive producers.
But I think here would be the 2 points to focus on is we can guarantee an A-list celebrity in the contract, at least one, in both the doc and the narrative. And B, we can also guarantee major NGO support. So we're happy to put that in writing and to sign a dotted line that says that we'll do that, because we know that we can do that so long as we keep the sanctity of those relationships in place.
Right. Which, in other words, means we do not talk to those people.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you give us the space to do it, we will deliver.
Right. Okay.
We're happy to put that in writing.
Gotcha. Of course. Okay. Well, I will circle back to the folks. I know they were ready to do 4.5 million. If everything kind of went our way, I will let them know what the situation is. I'll try to make them understand, and all we can do is go from there.
Sounds good. And do you know if they had it? Did they indicate to you that they want?
Actually, wait, Brandon, I don't suppose you could call us back in a little bit before you call them, so that we can just discuss a little bit.
Of whether they wanted to do both a doc and a narrative for that, or were they looking just at the narrative to choose?
It was basically it was 4.5 once we got these things, and then the discussion was for another 4.5 after paperwork and all that stuff was worked out. So it would be a total of 9 million for the narrative and documentary.
That's great.
That's great here. Yeah, and so we're flexible. We're flexible with the cash flow. I think that sounds really great, and let's find a way to make this work.
Sure. I'll let them know what the situation is. I know they are hoping for me or just someone from us to have the conversation with the agent or the manager or the celebrity or the political organizations. But if you guys think it's a bad idea, then I gotta let them know. So.
Yeah. I don't think it would be as bad an idea had that email not gone out and had a lot of people not seen it, and had it not if we hadn't gotten that email forwarded back, I think we'd be in a different mindset. But now we're hypersensitive because we're we do not want to light a powder keg.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I'll reprimand Steven for that one. So.
No, it's not. No harm, no foul. It's not.
Oh no. No, we've been business partners for a while, so we've yelled at each other a lot. But that's.
Okay. All right. Well, everything's fine. It's just there's a heightened sensitivity now in the community, and because of that, we have to choose our movements strategically.
Yeah, and also here's another way to look at it. Why would we say Mark Ruffalo when we could could have an option of Mark Ruffalo or Woody Harrelson, or like there's a handful of people that we can get involved in this.
Oh, sure.
Without limiting ourselves, that we have access to, who have already told us that they fully support this, even though not all of them were able to get us videos within that short time frame. So, we're
there's a way to build into this so that I think your clients will be more than excited about the end result.
And we're happy to put a structure in place that makes us have to honor our word on delivering these celebrities full of stock and its narrative, because we are 100% confident that we can.
Sure, of course. Okay, well, I will. Yeah, I'll pass the word along. We'll see what comes of it, and then I'll get back to you guys. All right.
All right, Brandon. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks so much, guys. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.